What's happening, Angela?
What's happening?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm currently reading the judge's ruling for the motions to dismiss, trying to locate the
Which motions to dismiss?
oh, whoops, this is my cell phone making noise in the studio. I'm just like Ryan Reynolds.
Studio.
Okay. The motions to dismiss when the judge ruled that they were granted, where Baldoni's case was dismissed.
Okay. Yeah, because he's had a few motions to dismiss. So
and then the cases against the New York Times and Leslie Sloan and Ryan Reynolds were also dismissed. But specifically, I'm looking for the part where the judge said, yeah, like when you read all those text messages between the publicists talking about launching a smear campaign, it does kind of look like they carried it out. Do you want to hear it? I found it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I want to fucking hear that.
Here's what the judge wrote.
This is in the dismissal too. This is when he dismissed Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit.
Yeah, this was in his ruling. Okay, so it's a long paragraph, but I'm gonna get into it because I just found it.
Let's get it.
The CRD complaint and the article, the New York Times article, contain numerous messages and documents strongly suggesting the Wayfarer parties did spread negative stories about Lively. Specifically, Abel stated to Nathan that Baldoni, in quotes, wants to feel like she can be buried. Nathan responded, we can send over the work we will we can't send over the work we will or could do because that could get us in a lot of trouble. And Nathan provided a scenario planning document to Baldoni and Wayfarer that included negative statements about Lively as labeled as key messaging points. Subsequently, Abel texted Nathan, we need to put the social combat plan into motion. And Nathan responded to Abel's text about wanting to plant pieces of how horrible Blake is to work with by stating that she had already spoken to an editor at the Daily Mail.
By the way, just to add to that, Andy Signor is releasing a documentary in which several crew members are supposed to interview with him to talk about how difficult she is to work with.
Oh my God, I know. It's just it's a plan in action, okay?
Yeah, and Andy Signor is the fucking, the puppet with the hand up his ass.
Continuing, Baldoni texted Abel a social media threat accusing a celebrity of bullying behavior and said, this is what we would need. Texted Abel and Nathan about flipping the narrative on Reynolds by using their own words against them, and circulated a negative TikTok to which a member of Nathan's team responded that she would let digital know. Text messages referenced a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's efforts to shift the narrative towards shining a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. And in quotes, boosting content that was critical of Lively. In addition, there's a lot of, most of this is quoted, but I haven't been reading the quotes because that'd get tedious. In addition, a report from a brand marketing consultant concluded Lively had likely been the target of a multi-channel online attack. The Wayfarer Party's statements regarding sending negative content to digital and Wallace's attempt to shine a spotlight on Blake and Ryan are inexplicable unless the Wayfarer parties were spreading negative content about Lively. And this impression is reinforced by messages from Baldoni, Abel, and Nathan suggesting this strategy. It is fair to presume that the Wayfarer parties did what they said that they planned to do.
God damn, dude. I'm telling you, a summary judgment.
He is citing a legal precedent here, Mutual Life Insurance Company of New York versus Hillman. And this excerpt
I remember the case well.
No, you don't. In this case, he's citing a quote, allowing evidence of intention as tending to prove the doing of the act intended is, of course, left undisturbed. So the judge continues, those messages are what is contained in the New York Times article and referenced in the video. A reader of those messages would have little doubt that the Wayfarer parties engaged in a smear campaign.
Come on. That is so damning.
I know.
I don't even know what to say about that except that, holy fuck, are you guys liquidating your assets? Are you putting everything in your wives' names or whatever you got to do? Because that's bad, bro. That's really fucking bad.
I wanted to find this today because somebody was screeching at me online about...
Hey, screenshot that so that we can just put that into an archive so that we can whip it out whenever we want when people come into this chat. What it should do is it should go up into our little media pool that's on the ATEM so I can just pop it right into the crowd and let them look at it.
Media
Oh
pool.
my God. It's absolutely so damning. That evidence is so fucking damning. Then when you talk about that and you include the unsealed documents today, I mean, these guys are just a bunch of bowling pins falling down, dude. That's all they are. You know? Like, that's insane.
When you make a documentary, you got to animate that image.
Yeah, just all them little heads.
Which is funny to
turn
me.
them into like a Baldoni bowling
Which is
pin.
funny to me because I know that you would never do that. Like, you're actually an artist, so you would never make a documentary where you would animate bowling pins.
Where I'd go to artificial intelligence and say, I would like these people to be formed into bowling pins.
I know, exactly. Smash the keyboard like this and be like, look, I made art.
I'll bet you that Andy Signor's documentary is filled with AI.
Oh, we'll see.
I'll bet you it's jam stuffed with it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make that assumption because he does.
I said I'll bet.
You know,
It's not an assumption.
before he turned into this like weirdo like misogyny machine, he made a lot of really fun content about movies. So I'm assuming he appreciates filmmaking and that he probably,
I honestly think
I'm
it's
assuming he's doing something artistic with this bullshit.
I think it's his main love, filmmaking.
Yeah.
I think he loves filmmaking more than he loves being a shill. But the shill is what's paying the bills. So all he can do is watch movies and feel the heartache of everything he's missed out in life and take it out on people like Blake Lively in the process. It's fucking sad, and it is what it is. So today, explosive. I mean, to me, this is just hyper explosive. I can't even. It's hard for me to get my head around it. But these unsealed documents, they prove that Baldoni's PR team leaked to the CRD. Or leaked the CRD complaint ahead of the New York Times release by 2 hours. Not to mention, and by the way, thanks to ex-patriarch for his incredible work on this.
Oh yeah, he's so good at this.
Really fucking fantastic work. If you guys want to see it, you can go to Baldoni Files where it exists. But it really is commendable stuff. And we're really happy to benefit from it and share it with you tonight. So thank you, ex-patriarch, wherever you are. You know what the cool thing about like getting help from ex-patriarch is for me is that he and I had a chat by telephone, and he was like, "Dude, you totally helped me out," and I had no idea because
That's fucking rad. It's so nice
coming
to
to
know.
our lives on TikTok.
Yeah,
and he was like, he was in the chat, and he was like, I was learning everything I could about what goes on in a set and what I could like, how I could interpret some of the things that I'm coming across. And he's like, and it wasn't just me; it was like dozens and dozens of influencers all over who had come to our channel for that purpose. And that made me feel really good. And then so it also makes me feel extremely, can I say, comfortable, accepting the gifts that he's sending our way, like the one he has today. In fact, let me pull it up as a reference. Are you gonna reference it? Will you do that?
yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So let's just go right to his chat. There's some things, man. There's some weird stuff though that he's not even talking about that I found. It's not hard to find. It's right there in front of you in the actual unsealing of the documents. One of them, well, first of all, somebody says is extremely upset at Jennifer Abel for not for not wiping her phone. Like they are mad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They called her a bonehead.
She is a bonehead. She is a fucking bonehead. How are you gonna? Okay, here's another thing too. Jennifer Abel is trying to allege in court. I don't know if you've seen this. Is separate from what you were talking about today, but she's trying to allege in court that her privacy was compromised because of that phone seizure.
Yeah.
Because apparently, through her phone that she gave back to her employer, Stephanie Jones, she apparently was able to access all of her photographs and personal text messages about like she was talking with her family members about fertility problems, and then they were able to access phone photographs that she had taken that apparently include nudes. So she's very upset that information was compromised and apparently seen by...
She's a cutie too.
But that information was apparently obtained by her employer when she seized her phone back. And again, I'm like, that's your fault for for
Dude,
connecting your work phone.
I've had work phones.
Okay, so you got yourself in a
None
position.
of them have my nudes.
I know. Well, apparently she signed in, right, with her account, and her account was connected to all these things. I mean, sometimes you learn the hard way that you're not supposed to do that stuff, and you're supposed to like better encrypt your private stuff.
Yes.
But what was I going to say? I just feel like sometimes we learn the hard way that we're supposed to do a better job of protecting ourselves, because what she did was she got herself in a position where she was going to get fired. Okay. And she knew it. She was planning to leave. So she could have anticipated that she needed to return that work phone. And then when she did return the work phone, she was like, oh, damn, like she can access all my shit because I didn't do a good job of keeping my stuff protected. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's in court, like in part of her lawsuit, she's like complaining about how Stephanie Jones had access to all this personal stuff. But it's like, that's your business to keep your personal stuff personal. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Like if I was using your phone to take pictures and then I gave it back to you and I was like, no, don't look at those.
Exactly. I had a friend who he got a job. We already got a job, and I'm reasonably savvy at my electronics. I'm not a savant or anything, and I'm not somebody you would like run to for repairs.
I do. I run to you.
I get around pretty well. I can solve most of the problems that
You're very clever with your tech stuff. I don't think you give yourself enough credit.
So this friend of mine, he got a job at like I don't know where it was, whatever, some big, Fortune 500 medical device company. I think it was. He was selling.
Damn.
It was a big job. It was like $300 a year.
Sounds miserable.
He had bags under his eyes, man.
Yeah, that sounds like nothing I would want to do.
But he was like, he came to me and he was like, yo, can my company see what I'm doing online? And it was very obvious what he was talking about, and I was like, don't do that, dude. Do not do that.
Because you're saying, yes, they can.
Yeah, I'm saying like they actually, so I had a tech on my, at my company when I ran a .com startup in whatever, 2000, whatever it was, single digits 2000s. And I had a tech in there and I had him, I said, yo, I want to know if anybody is doing the deeds on these computers. Like, I want to know that now.
What do you mean, the deeds?
Like, because
they're looking at porn?
Yes.
If they're on the black market?
Yeah. Or anything illegal, illicit, sexual in nature, any of that. Like, I didn't want any of that.
For some reason, it just like popped into my head like a little flash was in The Big Lebowski when John Goodman's character is like, I can get you a toe by 2:00.
Get you by a toe by 2. So anyway,
he's like buying toes, single toes online.
We were flagging people immediately, and let me tell you, dude, half of my staff, like I had to have a general conversation about it.
Half your staff was what?
Watching porn at work.
At work?
At work.
Or like at home on their work computer?
No, they were at work watching porn. No, not at home.
Guys.
This wasn't a remote job. This was like people watching porn in their fucking cubicles.
Guys.
So bad. It was like half my damn staff.
You're like, okay, so we all have ADHD.
I was like, dude, and maybe like half of it was like, like dudes sending, oh, check this out, in the emails and stuff, or
who knows, man?
Even gag stuff or whatever, but it wasn't good. So the fact that she, in this day and age, is being so careless with her device that she would have nudes of herself, which is, it's porn. It's amateur porn.
Well, no. She did not specify that they were like nudes, like her posing for a sexy photo. It could be like, hey, I have a rash, and you take a picture of your body part or something, and that's different. On your phone. Like, I don't know.
That wouldn't be.
What she was talking about are like personal images that are not meant to share with anybody, especially her fucking boss. You know what I mean?
I do.
But like that, ultimately, that's her responsibility. I can't imagine that the court is going to be like, yes, Stephanie Jones, you are responsible for having seen the things that Jennifer Abel left on her work phone,
No, that would be patently absurd.
What you looking for?
I'm just taking care of levels and stuff. Don't worry about me. I'm running the tech.
Good.
I'm running the tech. Don't get distracted. Just keep your talking.
Troller trolls. He said, haha, no, not at work, LOL.
Yeah. That's so gnarly, isn't it?
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
You're just like, do we have a problem? Like,
I only did it because there was one guy I suspected. There was one guy I was like, I think this guy, and just like the movie goes, it wasn't him. it was like 6 other people. The guy I
What do you mean you
suspected.
suspected?
Yeah, I suspected this guy. I was like, I came in and I came into the office and he was in early. And then he had like a nervous scramble at his desk
Oh,
that I did not appreciate.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I felt like I stepped on a mine.
Yeah, like you just like walked into the teenager's
I went
bedroom.
basically. I went to my desk, to my office. You know, I sort of got my calendar up, got everything going, and then I kind of just walked out because I didn't want to like beeline to the tech and be like, we have to have a talk.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to make him like that nervous. But I came in, he was acting really weird, so you know, I went to the tech and I was like, I was like, Ken, is this possible? Can we? And he was like, yeah, of course, absolutely. He was like, what do you want? I was like, well, let's go. I had to create a whole list. So he and I sat in the room and went through every pornographic like phrase that we could think of. And there were hundreds. And he was like, and this guy could type faster than I could talk. It was just like fucking madness, I swear. Oh, what have I done?
Did you just delete our live?
I don't even know. No, I wasn't on my live. Oh God, no. No. Everything's. What have I done?
So funny to me. Are you okay?
It's devastating. Well, so anyway. Oops.
That's not a prop keyboard, Dale. That one's plugged in.
The guy that I was trying to target was the innocent guy. And then there were like 6 others. 2 girls and 4 guys.
You know, I wonder whether the situation is
porn.
that they live in a house where like they have a wife who's really militant about that kind of shit, like no porn in the house or something, but they just like genuinely
There's
enjoy
probably, you know.
porn.
And it's like this stupid shit. Like this was
do
back
it
in
outside of the house.
The guy who was asking me about it for his company computer is because he was getting emails from his friends. He'd be like, oh, check this out. And he doesn't even know what it is. He's like, click it. And he's like, he's like, what the fuck?
You did a sound effect. Do it again.
No, that's a one-time deal, man.
It was like what? It was like what, Dale? What was it like?
It was just, you know, sounds of porn. Sounds of porn.
The Time Life. What is it? Like, didn't you have
No,
to?
you're not getting it.
Didn't you have a when you were a kid? Didn't you like subscribe to one of those like music subscription services
Yeah.
where they would just like send you a new album? What were those called? I remember the infomercials at night. I can't remember what they were called before. I'm trying to make a joke, but it's not working out because I don't have the memory for it.
You're bombing at your joke?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
always.
I don't know. I opened some weird ass shit. Drizzy Juan says, hola.
Hola.
Good to see you. Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? So, back to our main topic, which is this evidence. Do you want to just jump into it?
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
While you're doing that, I am going to look for the really peculiar or the really interesting thing where the person like just totally, not only does, I'm so excited to share this with you because not only does this person say that Jennifer Abel is like a bonehead or an idiot or whatever, but then Melissa Nathan for giving up her phone. And the person cites something about like having their own, he was like, I cleared my own fucking shit and had it gone before I was out of this company, whatever. And then Melissa Nathan said that, you know, Jen Abel, it was snatched as she was walking out the door. They were like, and we'll take that and that.
Yeah.
And
that's what happens when you piss off your boss, man. She should have expected it.
But then Melissa Nathan agreed with the individual about her boneheadedness, about Abel's boneheadedness. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anybody would, you know.
Yeah, I know, but they're all partnered up in this shit now.
I'm actually really surprised that we're not seeing more of a public like breakup, you know, that these people aren't throwing each other under the bus.
I bet you there's some fucking yelling behind the doors, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And
there will be.
It's getting worse today because this is really damning stuff.
Okay, well, you want me to look at it
Please
or
do.
what? Okay. So I haven't seen this yet. So this is Ex-Patriarch had put together a thread on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Unsealed docs prove Wayfarer leaked the CRD complaint to the media. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean the summary of it is pretty fucking simple. In fact, I have it in front of me. Melissa Nathan, I believe, was speaking directly with Harvey Levin at TMZ, and spinning it. They were up all night during their sort of window to respond to the New York Times article. And they were up all night working on a spin with TMZ. And then they released. Now, here's the interesting thing about this, because here's a little lesson in publicity, right? PR work is that you want to get your spin out first so that the other outlets are picking it up before they pick up the Times article.
Okay, so here's the context for this. I just screenshotted this today because somebody was saying that the timeline of that Blake Lively started it. And I was like, no.
Did not.
Justin Baldoni hired these publicists. They implemented a social combat plan, or whatever the fuck they want to call it, in the first week of August of 2024, and it was December 20th, according to Justin Baldoni's timeline. He said December 20th, Lively files her complaint with the California Rights Department.
Correct.
The CRD. Same day, later that day, Megan Twohey, a reporter for the New York Times, reaches out to Wayfair about allegations made by Lively related to a filed CRD complaint.
Yes.
In quotes, please offer any on-the-record comment as well as any other information you think we should know. Additionally, please notify us of any inaccuracies. We need to hear back from you tomorrow by noon Eastern. So their deadline to respond to the New York Times,
yes,
was December 21st at noon.
So before you continue,
Eastern.
Do you remember how fucking twisted they were about the New York Times not putting the article out at noon?
Correct.
Do you remember how twisted they were?
Was never a promise.
Well, now we
of
know
theirs.
why they were twisted. Because they were working with TMZ to get an article out ahead of theirs. Mm-hmm. So they thought they had a timeline to noon because of the deadline. Interestingly enough, the New York Times got wise to it, or maybe they were just being like, okay, you know what, they passed. I understand that they put them out for comment, and Wayfair Party said, we have no comment.
Yeah, they replied.
That's correct.
At midnight. Right.
So the assumption on the Wayfair parties was that it was going to, that the article would fly at noon.
Yeah, which is weird because they keep doing this, right? Brian Friedman does make all these assumptions, even though it's never stated. So she never said
article was going to run at all.
They never made any promises that the article would run at noon. She said, we need to hear back from you tomorrow by noon Eastern. That was Wayfair's deadline, but not the Times deadline.
Publicists know what that means. They know what that language means. Mm-hmm. They know what's up. They know that they have until noon before they go to publication.
Yeah.
So it is a reasonable assumption. If I had gotten that and a publicist told me it's a reasonable assumption that these guys are going to go live with this article noon tomorrow, then so it's so interesting because that they went at 10 a.m. They narrowly got ahead of the New York Times in their spin with TMZ. And then TMZ got their article out almost exactly 2 hours before the New York Times article went live. But it would have been 4 hours about if the New York Times had published at the deadline that they offered Wayfair. So there was like a 2 hour window. So that's a lot of seeding time that they didn't get. What ex-patriarch did, bless his heart, is that he showed a correlation between a bunch of, and this is in your thing, you can see he created a. Do
you want me to just read this whole thing?
No. What I'm talking about is we'll have you read it, but he created, because there's some great evidence to go over. Oh shit! But he created let me just pull it up because it's worth me talking about and commenting on. He created a collage of all the articles that picked up on the TMZ article that dropped, which contained their spin.
Not the New York Times article.
Not the New York Times. It was the TMZ article that actually kicked the frenzy. And if you think about it, it's true, because the New York Times article is going to go out to the sort of more the snooty line of things.
Yeah.
People pick it up, and obviously it'll still blow up as the New York Times. But TMZ is gossip. I mean, it's pure gossip. That's what it is.
Well, so it's so interesting because this keeps happening. We have long assumed and known that, either or, depending on there was a smear campaign that was in motion, that they heard about the New York Times article, and that they decided to spin it real fast. Right? I never knew. See, I knew that just based on Justin Baldoni's timeline that he's shown everybody. I knew that they had been doing a smear campaign for months, since the beginning of August, and this December 20th New York Times article came way after they had started the smear campaign.
Yeah.
So it was never really much of an important detail to me that the Wayfarer parties would report negatively about that New York Times article. You know, I just assumed like, yeah, the smear campaign continued. There are paid invoices for the smear campaign for like several months in a row, $30,000 a month, right? They itemize their invoices. There's they're part of their itemized services are attacks on Blake Lively. I was like, okay. But this just goes to show, like, this is just refining the timeline of exactly the kind of things that they did in the smear campaign. Like, we knew here on this, you know, in our conversations with these people who are like actually following the evidence, we knew that they were doing a smear campaign. It's just interesting that these new evidence is getting unsealed so that we're finding like the exact details of them.
It is. There's another thing that, you know, so I'll just let you get into it because that last bit on ex-patriarch's post on the Baldoni files is, for me, probably the juiciest of it all.
He's a really good writer that way. Because he always ends with a bang.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
He's good at what he does.
But I'm talking about the evidence. The evidence itself is just wild.
Okay, so check this out. He writes, so I'm just going to, I feel like it feels a little bit like plagiarism. I could just read what he wrote, right?
Of course.
Okay, ex-patriarch is writing in this thread here on Reddit. Back in January, I made a video and a post, and he links them, okay, showing the evidence that upon receiving notice of the CRD complaint and knowledge of the New York Times article, Wayfarer spent their time attempting to get ahead of the narrative and leaked the CRD complaint to TMZ and various other outlets. Newly unsealed docs in the court case now prove this out and show Wayfarer did indeed leak the CRD complaints to TMZ in order to control the narrative and drown out the New York Times reporting.
Correct.
I just want to stop right there because I've just, that provoked a thought. This so far is not anything different. There's one reason why this is what they're doing is wrong. What the publicist is doing is wrong. But generally, this is what publicists will do. If there's any negative press about their client, they will try and go out to their friendly tabloids and they'll spin it and try and make their client a victim who is struggling against some horrible person, and they'll prevail because they're in the right. Okay? Like, that's normal for publicists to do.
Right.
What is not normal is that they're using the CRD complaints because the CRD is protected, right? In the state of California, at least, and definitely in some federal law, because this is a situation where she is an employee and Justin Baldoni is an employer. He is not allowed to talk about any of this stuff.
Nope.
So that's what makes it unique. He's not just defending himself. His publicist can't do that with this case.
Nope.
If she's talking about how she was harassed and then retaliated against because of the harassment, he can't say anything about that.
Nope, he cannot.
So this was supposed to be hands off for them.
Yeah.
That's why they're all involved in a lawsuit together. Okay, the evidence. So here is a group chat with employees of Melissa Nathan's TAG PR group, Katie Case, Brianna Butler Coslow, and Melissa Nathan. Melissa Nathan is sending a link to an iCloud. Okay. Redacted name said, just tried you back. I see the part you're talking about. Melissa Nathan replies, exactly. Redacted name said, are there any next steps here? Are you okay? Melissa Nathan said, I'm okay, honestly. I'm like, whatever.
I don't know what this is about because she's betrayed here for $35K a month. Keep going.
On December 20th, Melissa Nathan shared the CRD complaint with employees Brianna Coslow and Katie Case.
Yeah.
They console each other and work together to get a statement drafted in response. They console each other. All this, are you okay? I'm okay. Honestly, I'm like, whatever.
No, it's a different thing. I don't think that there's accuracy there because if you keep going, there's somebody who's she says he sold me out for $35,000 a month is what Nathan says. Keep going. You'll see it.
Melissa Nathan says, my sister is acting like this is the end of the world and I ruined her whole career and I'm going to get her the sack.
Her sister is
Sarah Nathan, who
right.
works at the Daily Mail, I think, and New York Post.
Daily Mail.
Okay.
Yep. She's a writer for the Daily Mail. Was at the time at least.
Melissa Nathan continues, it's like, if you think about it, celebrities suing publicists for doing a good job. This is going to backfire in her face so hard.
Well, what's interesting is like now what's going to backfire in whose face for them?
Yeah.
Because there ain't nobody going to fucking work with a bunch of...
Does she really think she's just doing publicist work? Like, does she not know that you can't attack people who aren't your, like, who aren't
Well, we
paid.
know she knows because
Like,
we
she's
talked.
supposed to-
She put it in writing that she knows. She says she has to fucking hide shit.
Yeah, exactly. She has to hide shit.
Yeah, they say it all over this document.
So
It's
what do you
all
mean?
over this document. It's got to be covered up. It's got to be quiet. It's got to be.
Suing publicists for doing a good job? No, you're doing a bad job. You're doing the kind of job that gets your client sued. You're doing the kind of job that gets your client sued for fucking defamation and harassment and aiding and abetting a conspiracy and shit. Okay.
Exactly.
Melissa Nathan continues. Also, the fact Matthew knew. I'm going to tell them this is honestly the end of everything for him and me. He sold me out
Who's
for
Matthew? Do you know? This is what I'm saying. He sold me out for $35,000 a month. Matthew.
He sold me out for $35K a month. You redacted name says, you really think he knew the specifics of it? And Melissa Nathan says, playing back his conversation? Absolutely. Well, I don't know how this is useful because I don't know who the fuck they're talking about.
Keep going.
Okay. Expatriarch continues. Melissa also shares that her sister is acting like this is the end of the world and I ruined her whole career and I'm going to get her the sack, which is such an old-timey way of saying that I'm actually really delighted by. She says, I'm going to get her the sack.
It's so stupid.
She said, I'm going to get her the sack. Okay. Which is interesting, as Tag's narrative is always that they never planted stories with Sarah Nathan. Well, Stephanie Jones did. So it is curious why Sarah would blame Melissa. This appears to suggest that Stephanie Jones's narrative, that Melissa was the one planting stories with Sarah, is the accurate one. The Tag team, so that's the PR crisis management team, began working on a packet containing selected and cropped screenshots that can reinforce their spin and narrative on the allegations that of, in quotes, a billionaire family going up against a small, new, female-founded company who was just doing their job. Melissa responds, exactly, on with TMZ. Okay, so here is the text exchange.
So she's
Redacted name said, who is speaking with Megan Twohey? She's the writer in the New York Times, the Pulitzer Prize winning writer of the New York Times.
She's a gossip columnist. That's what they say.
Not on any planet.
That's what they say on. It ends with lawsuits.
Do they really?
They call her a gossip columnist.
She won a fucking Pulitzer.
And then
She saved Hollywood.
and then yeah, I mean, she literally created the Me Too movement. I mean,
The book she wrote
the catalyst.
about exposing Harvey Weinstein has been made into a fucking major motion picture.
Major motion picture. She literally
not a
changed
gossip.
the whole landscape of Hollywood. You know, our second story, if we get to it, Jeremy Renner is, you know, this what's happening to Jeremy Renner really is on that foundation, on that establishment of Me Too that she and those brave subjects of hers, you know, did to come forward. It's crazy.
You guys should read She Said. It's a really great book. I read Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor's book She Said in the same summer that I read Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow.
Yeah.
And I was just like, ever since then, I've just been so paranoid that Dale's gonna like talk to somebody who's a spy.
Yeah, like we get calls, like I get emails on, you know, semi-regular basis of people just being like, hey, you know, I represent a production company. I just had one a little while ago. I represent a production company here in the UK, and then they show me, and it's like a legit production company. We'd like to talk to you about maybe working together on something. And then I turned to Angela. I'm like, Angela, and this is all about my story, not about my movies. And then I turned to Angela and I'm like, oh, look, these guys want to talk about the, you know, no. They're going to ask you, if they ask you to sign anything, you don't fucking sign anything. And she just goes down a list of like,
because I read
don't
those
fall
books
for nothing.
and I know what the fucking tactics are. And I wouldn't put Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio above Harvey Weinstein's tactics ever. Like, of course they'd fucking play the same game. Okay. So here is the text that he's referencing in this thread. Okay. Redacted name said, who is speaking with Megan Twohey? Redacted name continues, I just sent the WeTransfer of a bunch of stuff, but need to add more to it. But off the top of my head, number one, factually, there isn't a single headline of a source quote from Justin Baldoni saying anything bad against her. Number two, Leslie Sloan texts about speaking with Sarah. Okay, number three, billionaire family going up against a small, new, female-founded company who was just doing their job. Number four, it sounds so quaint when they put it that way. Number four, time and time again in texts and emails showing we did not want to engage, nor respond, nor go nuclear, etc. And then they continue, and can we not leak this to someone? Oh, this might be two redacted people talking to each other. The next one goes, and can we not leak this to someone else before New York Times who will be shit we know either way and get ahead of this?
I mean, do you want to just reread that? Because that's like the most.
And can we not leak this to someone else before the New York Times who will be shit we know either way?
Who will be shit.
And get ahead of this? Melissa Nathan said, exactly, on with TMZ.
Right, exactly, on with TMZ. And then she opened up a line directly to Harvey Levin.
Okay, so check this out.
Yeah.
This is really interesting because this is timestamped.
Yes.
So we know from Justin Baldoni's own timeline that on December 20th, they received a notification from Megan Twohey of the New York Times saying, we're going to run an article that says this, this, and this, and this. We would like you to respond. We give you until noon tomorrow to respond.
Yes.
They ended up responding at midnight. These text messages where they're saying, can we not leak this to someone before the New York Times and get ahead of it? And then Melissa Nathan says, exactly, I'm on with TMZ. The timestamp here is 11:24 p.m. on that night.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know that. And what we do know, we don't have to go to those timestamps. We don't have to go to those timestamps because we have a timestamp on the TMZ article. That timestamp is 2 hours ahead of the drop of the New York Times article, and it's citing the whole CRD complaint.
The next person in this thread said, and I can send full text thread as it's timestamped from August. It says Leslie Sloan did the first piece. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no, this is them this is how they're going to cover up their...
They said that, so they're...
This is them covering it up.
Here's what I don't understand. They seem to think that it's
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is them covering up. She brings up a couple of things that they're going to use, including...
I'm going to continue.
Including the organics as a way to try to cover up what they're actually doing, which is getting ahead of it.
Here's what I don't understand. I don't know why they think it's a defense to be like, yeah, we got negative press early on, and so we decided to full bore like attack Blake Lively. It's like some sort of defense of theirs where they're like, oh, well, she started it. I'm sorry, but like you're responsible for taking care of your client and getting your client into a lawsuit over defamation and retaliation and sexual harassment. Like all of these things are really bad for your client. Like I don't care that Leslie Sloan said something mean. Right? It doesn't give these people, it seems like them and the Baldoni bots are like all relying on this fact that maybe some bad press happened about Baldoni. And so it just like opened the door for all of this really horrific behavior that now put him in a fucking lawsuit.
Well, we know there was a bunch of bad press leading up to the screening because there was all these, all the issues around the unfriending of Baldoni, the cast.
It's arguable that Melissa Nathan and Jamie Heath were actually behind all of that because they were trying to convince Baldoni to hire Crisis PR.
Well, we know it wasn't Blake Lively because Blake Lively came up with Blake Lively came up with a document trying to get that under control and have Justin Baldoni take responsibility for the set that he owned, that he was the boss on.
Right.
And so why would she write that? To cover her own trail?
But do you get what I'm saying? It's like, I don't understand why they think it's any defense that maybe Leslie Sloan put out some press that was mean.
It's not. It's just it's their fuel. It's their fuel. It's their motivation. It's their justification. Their self-justification. But it's not. There's no. It's.
Everybody wants to make it seem like everything they did after that is completely forgiven. Like no, they got their fucking client ruined. His reputation is in the fucking garbage because of what they did. Okay. Expatriate continues. This shows that it was Tag and Wayfarer who were working through the night to leak the CRD complaint to the press. Friedman's statement and their shaping of the narrative to TMZ, not Lively's team or the New York Times. Right before TMZ published their article, TMZ's Harvey Levin directly calls Melissa Nathan, likely to let her know the TMZ article was going live. Melissa Nathan, in a text message, this is timestamped 7:55 a.m. on the 21st of December. So that was the next morning from the last one that we read at 11:25
So she's on
25 p.m.
She's on the West Coast. 7:55?
7:55 a.m. is this one that said, just got woken up by Harvey Levin.
Yeah.
Melissa Nathan said. And then she's texting somebody who's redacted. I'm okay with Katie. Can we call you? Melissa Nathan said, gave her a time, 4:55 a.m. and said, no, I just woke up. I'm honestly going to vomit. And then this redacted name said TMZ broke. So that article launched.
And that article, and then when you go and you click on that article, you'll see that it launched a full 2 hours or just a hair under 2 hours ahead of the New York Times drop. And then influenced another. So then he like I said, he put together this whole sort of collage, and like I can't. He didn't do a great job because it's not a vector graph. It's like so you can't really zoom in. But I see the New York Post. I see 2Fab. I see big giant publications that have huge audiences, and these all carrying the TMZ spin. Yeah. So this is the frenzy that began. This is great.
I see Parade, Mirror,
right,
TV Insider, New York Post.
Yep. So these are all the outlets that picked up on
Slash Films. That was I think Slash Films had something to do with Andy Signor.
Slash Films did Don's Plum with
People Magazine is
the inspiration for
NME bunch. Okay, he said Ex-Patriarch said TMZ's article was published in the early hours of the 21st, long before the New York Times deadline for comment from Wayfarer of noon. But New York Times, we know that's a little bit like that's kind of a spin, because the deadline was noon for them to respond. But we know the New York Times article was published at 10 a.m. because Brian Friedman made a big fucking deal about how that was unfair for some reason he couldn't really articulate. So
we're going to need you to articulate.
This TMZ article was published 4:54 a.m. Pacific. So what is that Eastern?
+3.
Okay, so that is definitely before the 10 a.m. New York Times article was published. Okay. Tag and Wayfarer had worked through the night to ensure they leaked the CRD complaint first. As covered in the video that Ex-Patriarch made, this led to dozens of media outlets all covering the story, but sourcing and linking the TMZ article and not the New York Times article, which would have been the case had the New York Times broke the story first. Well, we don't know. They would have selected whatever spin.
Well, no. We do know that's not true. They would have definitely run with it. It's super salacious stuff, right? So, the New York Times article has the some of the texts and these quotes. So 100% they would have run with it. That's the whole point, is that, this is why this is this lesson in PR. This is for sure what would have happened, because there's so much tea in Megan Twohey's article. There's no way these outlets like People and so on and so forth. But here's the thing about them. Once they got their toes dipped into this paint, or once they got their brush dipped into this paint, you know what I mean?
I love how you're like just throwing metaphors out left and right.
They're all brand new too. Once they're dipping their brushes into this paint, they can't get it into other paint. It gets all contaminated. Like they're in bed now with this publicist and this spin. And now they can only just do the next article. They can't retract.
You can't get paint in bed.
I said, just continue.
You can't.
You can.
So messy, which is the point you're making.
No, that's not the point. The point I'm making is that I didn't say anything about bed.
No, you're saying they dipped their toes in the paint and then they got into bed.
No.
Which is like a big no-no.
No, I didn't.
You're not supposed to do that.
No, what I said was, just stop it.
Okay. Ex-Patriarch continues, shifting the blame. As a result of Tag leaking the story and over a dozen outlets covering the story before the New York Times article went to print, the New York Times launched the story at 10:11 a.m. In their complaint, however, Wayfarer shifted the blame on the feeding frenzy.
I'm so sorry. Don't know how that happened.
To the New York Times, ignoring that it was Tag who already set it into motion. So, according to the Wayfarer's lawsuit against the New York Times, they said the Times published the article without warning at 10:11 a.m. Eastern, cutting off the Wayfarer party's ability to do so and catalyzed a feeding frenzy.
Nom, 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 nom.
It was. Not just that, but Wayfarer's complaint also blames the New York Times for publishing before the suggested noon deadline for comment, but not affording them remotely enough time to meaningfully respond to the allegations, in quotes. However, the text messages show that Wayfarer never had any intent to meaningfully respond to the New York Times beyond their statement. Instead, Wayfarer and Tag worked through the night to shop their packet of screenshots to more friendly media outlets that would regurgitate their highly cropped and edited screenshots without verifying the information contained within.
It's what publicists do. And, you can guarantee that they were like, don't worry about it. It's coming out in the Times tomorrow. It's coming out in the Times tomorrow. The whole point is like the big gift that they offer is that they get to get ahead of the Times. I mean, that's when you're talking on the phone, you're like, dude, this thing's going to drop by noon. Because that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
This is a part of why I'm telling you that they were so upset about it.
Even though there was no consequences for them at all.
No, there were no consequences. But the reason they were so fucking upset about it is
because it surprised them.
Well, no, because like if they're telling their other outlets that they're pitching, get it out before noon. Mm-hmm. And they drop at 10, suddenly, who knows how many fish they had on the hook that were like, hey, wait a second. This is some new stuff, man. Wait. Well, there's this quote now. I gotta include this quote that you didn't include, and so on and so forth. So
rather than the lack of New York Times journalistic integrity, it was their high journalistic standards that meant Wayfair could not shop their packet to the New York Times. The New York Times already had the full unedited screenshots that would show the selective editing done by Wayfair and prove their narrative was false. It also once again proves out that Wayfair and Tag's abusive behavior. It was they who caused the feeding frenzy. It was they who leaked the CRD in order to manipulate the media and ensure their narrative came first, prompting a deluge of media coverage to drown out and silence the New York Times article. Then, in typical fashion, in their complaint, they blamed Lively and the New York Times for the behavior they set in motion and the consequences of their own actions.
don't you hate that we live in a world where lying is just 100% not only okay, it's like the what is that? What is that?
Modus operandi.
Modus operandi. Like, it's the craziest thing. Like, you watch
it is your motive for operating.
Yeah, it's your motive for operating. We see it happening in the White House and in all of government.
Well, I think one thing
and now we see it in this way.
It's a little irritating for people to like say that all of this is bad because, like I said, it's important. Like, publicists are hired to improve their client's reputation. So getting out ahead of a story that's negative to their client is totally normal, like I said earlier.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the blatant lying that's a part of it. Like,
I know.
There's one thing to spin it on, like, hey, there were misunderstandings, or,
the lying that they're doing is where they're trying to frame Blake Lively as an abuser.
Correct.
Or somebody who's lying about their allegations.
Right,
that's what they're not supposed to be doing. And especially since the CRD complaint involves sexual harassment in the workplace and retaliation for speaking up about it, they're not supposed to be saying any of this shit.
No, the way you would spin that in a sane world,
responsible way.
The way you would spin that is they had differences on set, and those differences, became uncomfortable for both parties. And you would just do that, right? You would emphasize that things happened between them.
My client is
misunderstandings and conflation of, whatever.
Exactly. Or my client does not feel like it helps the Me Too movement to comment publicly about such private matters, or something. I don't know.
Or just
say nothing and be like, I'm trying to protect the privacy of everybody involved. Like, that doesn't make you a bad person.
Right. And you can say, look, you can just say, due to the sensitivity of this, we're not going to get into a big conversation about it, but it is with great regret that Ms. Lively feels this way, and we're going to do our best to settle this thing legally, whatever. Publicists aren't supposed to create lies, bona fide, verifiable lies, but that's what they're doing.
Bona fide lies.
Bona fide lie.
It's an oxymoron. Okay, so
we'll get to that.
This continues. Okay, so here's the potential legal issue, according to Ex-Patriarch. Okay.
Yeah.
On June 13th, Melissa Nathan signed off on Tag's responses to Ryan Reynolds' interrogatories. Interrogatory number 6 asked Tag. So this is Ryan Reynolds with regards to the lawsuit. Is that what that is? June 13th?
Yeah.
Interrogatory number 6 asked Tag, in quotes, identify all reporters and news or media outlets of any kind with whom you have communicated directly or indirectly in any manner concerning Miss Lively, Mr. Reynolds, and the CRD complaint, the actions, or the Lively Reynolds companies from June 15th, 2024 to the present. The list that Tag responded is missing a number of names of reporters that Tag are known to have contacted. For example, Harvey Levin's name is entirely missing from the list. And we know that they did because we just got this unsealed evidence.
I was thinking about
So they are lying in court to Ryan Reynolds.
I think they are. And the thing is that, like, you can see there's a profound connection, conversation. They were up all night. They were working on this spin. It got out to Harvey Levin. That got hit with TMZ. Then they go and hit all these other outlets. Of course, there are outlets that are picking up right off the TMZ feed. So
it's interesting, too, because, of course, Melissa Nathan would be like, well, I'm not going to drag Harvey into a lawsuit, so I'm just going to not name him since he's like one of my biggest buds here.
Well,
in this game.
let me finish what I was saying, which was that, like, they can't pretend that they didn't remember. Like you can't go back. Like I don't think a reasonable minded judge will accept an excuse for this as like,
right.
oh yeah, that's right. Harvey Levin. I forgot about Harvey Levin.
Yeah, he just woke
Like,
up.
There is no evidence with them having direct conversation with anybody but fucking Harvey Levin.
Yeah, she's like, Harvey Levin just woke me up and told me he's going to run the story to get ahead of the New York Times story that we just prepared. We worked on all night with him on. But you left him out. Here's the list that she did provide. Daily Mail, TMZ, CNN, Good Morning
TMZ is Harvey
America.
Levin.
What?
TMZ is Harvey. Oh, Jamie and Brendan Geoffrion. So that's very interesting because they do list TMZ.
TMZ, but different names.
But with different names. So that is very interesting to me.
Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, E! News, People, New York Post, Business Insider, Deadline, something called Puck, LA Times, US Weekly, Du Moi, Billy Bush, Candace Owens, Perez Hilton. Okay, Ex-Patriarch said, this is yet more evidence that TAG and Wayfair have failed to be transparent and truthful through the discovery process. It is no wonder then that they are currently fighting against multiple sanctions about their improper and dishonest behavior.
Yeah. I mean, this, I think, is probably the least of it.
Oh, also, this person commented, Comfortable Fruit 1821, username.
Yeah.
Said Sarah Nathan is also missing from their list.
Sarah Nathan is definitely listening. And that we know that was going down because they spoke specifically about her on multiple occasions. So, look, here's the thing about it, though. I just, first of all, I don't know how serious a matter this would be with the court. Like, lying to the court is not something the court is not used to. And I think that the court always looks at how egregious it is. So if it's like something that they don't find very egregious, then, will there be sanctions? Maybe. But what it does show is that it's dishonest. See, like what happens is like when you move toward summary judgment, when they file for summary judgment, and I've completely changed my mind about this. She doesn't need a jury trial. I think if she gets a summary judgment, it'll be just as powerful. Because the summary judgment is going to have, is going to be 200, 300, 400 pages long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's going to cite all of the major damning evidence in all of its absolute form. Like there will be
I have to share this with you.
I'm sorry.
This is so weird. So this apparently comes from the unsealed text messages that Melissa Nathan apparently is saying. She says in a text message, "I'm on with Justin Baldoni's psychic and legal team."
Yeah.
And there's this people in this thread. Lark Spurring's username is saying,
I just read that as a matter of fact. Like I read that in the post.
She's like, this is fucking sending me. What a fucking nightmare client Justin Baldoni turned out to be. This person said Baldoni really is such a fucking cartoon, LMAO. Like he was born in a writer's room for a Ben Stiller comedy.
Because I believe
from
in
the 90s.
It sucks because I don't necessarily believe in psychics or having a psychic, and I understand the oddity
your
of it.
Publicist in touch with your psychic and legal team.
I would do that. I would definitely put my publicist in touch with my astrologer, but not my psychic. I keep my psychic
really,
to myself.
Really funny. I'm on with his psychic and legal team.
Yeah, I saw that.
I know that's so funny too.
I try not to pick on people for that because, I got my own woo-woo.
No. But he was basically like, yeah, let me loop you in with my team, and the team includes like fucking an oracle seer, some old crone with an eye patch, in the corner, who's like, yes, Harvey Levin is the one to contact.
She's like something draped over her head. You never see her face, yes. And she just like breathes.
Just like that.
It's just like feeding the Akashic record. Well, there you go.
They missed their deadlines because she's consulting her crystal ball.
There you go, man. Listen, these fucking people have been lying to everybody's face. They have been lying to these poor unsuspecting souls who haven't got either the time or the bother to verify anything that they say. And so they've just lied to them profusely and profoundly. And now there's this just absolute giant, irrevocable mess. It's quite extraordinary. And it's frightening, It's interesting to see like how easy it was. Because like all they had to do for me was destroy me in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I watched these guys in no time destroy Blake Lively, in no time, fucking globally, certainly nationally. But, certainly to some extent also internationally. And because I was always amazed about it. I was like, how did they do it? And I'm like, what do you mean? They did it in a minute, bro. Like flicking off the light before you go to bed.
Also, we have Blake Lively has named some people that she's going to potentially call as witnesses Do you want to hear the list?
Oh, Blake Lively's list?
Yes.
Am I on it?
No, you missed the invitation.
I had a phone call with Andy Signor. How can I not be on it?
I know. We didn't RSVP. That's why.
He called Blake Lively like Tobey Maguire. Surely they want that on the record.
Listen, I told her that I wasn't going to +1 you because I couldn't afford the airfare.
Well, it is a little pricey.
So I'm just going to go alone. Okay. Blake Lively said Justin Baldoni's alleged "it ends with us" misconduct and subsequent preemptive smear campaign cost her some serious cash, and now the Gossip Girl star wants it back triple time, says Deadline. Lively is also naming names, very famous names. Potential witnesses include Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Emily Blunt, Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera, Alexis... Nope. America Ferrera.
Oh, really? From Traveling Pants?
Yeah. Lively Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-stars Amber Tamblyn, from America Ferrera,
I keep forgetting
Alexis Bledel. Candace Owens is apparently going to be called as a witness.
Yeah.
Gigi Hadid, Scooter Braun.
By the way, speaking of Scooter Braun, watch Baldoni announce a project with what's her face?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Jenny Slate.
What's her name? Sweeney?
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. Watch it. Baldoni.
You watch it. You watch it.
Tags
you watch
Sydney
it, buddy.
Sweeney for the new for the sequel.
Jenny Slate and WME's Ari Emanuel. Apparently.
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift is missing.
Not on the list.
Oh wait. Yeah, Taylor Swift is on the list.
Taylor Swift is on the list.
Who could have discoverable information for next year's trial.
Taylor.
According to Deadline.
I wonder what that could possibly be. Well, you know what it could be is her complaining to Taylor.
Yeah.
This guy's fucking kissing on me, bro.
Yeah, she could just be like, yeah, she sent me a text message. She was really upset. I went to her house to visit. She was crying.
Is everybody okay?
Taylor Swift was at the house when they were talking about the rewrite of the rooftop scene.
No, of course. There was the
Dragon's comment.
The Dragon's comment. Well, actually, it wasn't even the Dragon's
They'll cross-examine her with that. Like, have you ever been referred to yourself as a dragon, Mrs. Swift? Okay, and then I have another item here, but we can go to the chat first.
So Cosmic says he likes Sydney Sweeney. Well, that's nice. I don't have any feelings for her, but if but her answer about whether or not that ad was appropriate, and whether or not she was concerned over the feedback that was coming from the ad, her answer to that makes her a highly suspicious individual for me. It is very, and then of course, hooking up with Scoots. But the interesting thing about hooking up with Scoots was I was like, well, what's going on? So I look up Scoots' political affiliations, and he was Kamala Harris. In fact, he talked a lot of shit about Donald Trump. So that was interesting. I was like, wow, that's fucking weird. I didn't see that coming. I was for sure going to see him like with a fucking, a MAGA tattoo or something. But no, he is not MAGA.
Yeah, well, these like rich guy Democrats, you never know where they stand on these issues.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah, the whole.
So Sydney Sweeney's sleeping with the enemy in that regard.
Phil Baumling said the sad thing through all this is the fact that even if Lively exposes everything in court, there will still be a narrative out there that she is horrible or lied, etc. These smears will linger
for decades, if not for the rest of her career. She has been irreparably harmed. There's no doubt. This is irrevocable. What they have done is irrevocable. And that's why people are screaming about the amount of money she's asked for. I think it's absolutely appropriate. I think when part of her expert testimony is they're going to be able to tell a judge through they're going to bring up some those statistician types that come in and be like, we can work out within a reasonable amount of accuracy, a certain margin of sort of accuracy or error, what we can expect for the longevity of the problem. And I think that's going to be shocking testimony. I think they're going to say that she'll never recover, and she won't. I don't think she'll ever recover. I'm with you 100% on that, Phil Baumling. I don't think there's a chance in hell that she ever fully recovers from this, or Ryan Reynolds for that matter. The only one that was impervious to it is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is practically impervious to almost anything except anything that she might do directly.
Except, okay, so this is just such a great case of that saying, Justin Baldoni was hoisted by his own petard.
Yeah.
Such a ridiculous saying. I love to use it. And it's basically like you set a bomb to explode somebody,
Yeah.
but you end up getting exploded too. And so, yeah, you did do a lot of damage. Congratulations. Like that person that you tried to set the bomb for was hurt, but you got exploded too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So he's going to get hoisted by his own petard.
Oh, no, he already has.
He already has.
Yeah.
And it's just, this is the thing. It's like, don't go setting petards
You know, it's
because you'll
interesting.
get hoisted.
in this newly released evidence, he is all kinds of worried about that. He's all kinds of worried about his personal damage. He wants to talk about directing Pac-Man.
You know, he says it in his memoir. It's actually really chilling.
Yeah.
Where he closes his memoir where he talks about his greatest fear is that he's gonna wake up one day and he will have lost everything that he built, and he won't have a career anymore, or he won't have, you know, everything that he's earned. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, you fucking manifested that for yourself.
Cosmic Jersey said that you assume everyone you don't like is MAGA. That's absolutely not true. I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I don't like Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
I don't like. I don't have a lot of love for Kamala. I think she's, you know, as far as the institution goes, I think she's just part of the established. You can take all the establishment Democrats and put them in a big pile and just light them on fire. That'd be just fine with me. Thank you. So no, that's not true. I'm not. You know, that's not true at all. But I will say that I did think Scooter was going to be Scoots, as I call him. I did expect him to be MAGA because according to Sydney Sweeney, she is, or she's at least, you know, Republican conservative. So just the reasonable assumption is that she voted her party. She registered to vote her party in Florida.
Okay, I don't know how useful it is to talk about celebrities' political. I mean, listen, I don't go to.
I mean, we're just engaging in a conversation.
I understand. I don't go to
little Miss Judgy Pants.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little Miss Judgy Pants about this.
Yeah, well, we can have this conversation. You know,
I don't go to celebrities to form my opinions about politics, and so I don't care what their political opinions.
Nobody's saying that. He's saying that I'm assuming everyone I don't like is MAGA. This isn't about forming political opinions.
No, I know, but you pivoted to celebrities, and I know that you don't care what celebrities.
We were talking about celebrities.
You said everyone you don't like, and then you started talking about politicians, and then you pivoted to celebrities, and that's when I came in. That's what happened.
You're being too technical.
CC says self-fulfilling prophecy from Justin Baldoni. Then, and then regarding his own words.
Yeah.
He did definitely make that happen for himself. It is kind of like a really sad situation. I think he's a dirtbag, but I feel bad for him because it's so odd to me when somebody can't see that they're destroying their own lives. He is a victim of his own bad decisions.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know how you know somebody who's like kind of a dirtbag and you're not really rooting for them anyway, but you see that they're destroying themselves with addiction or some other sort of like abusive behavior that they should just let go. That's
Sebastian Bach was one of those guys for me in the 80s and 90s.
Really?
Yeah, because I loved it. The
what
way
was his band?
Skid Row.
Okay, and so
they came out with like one of like the greatest like fucking songs ever in metal history, in my opinion. 18 and a Life. Guy used to fucking sing that thing.
That's a good
18
song.
and a Life. I'm fucking man.
That's a sing along.
Oh my god, it's the best. And they have
so
a couple
what happened
of
to
them.
him? I don't know.
He's just like a fucking raging asshole.
Oh really?
Yeah, like there's just so much of it, dude. The Skid Row, they would sooner die than let him back in the fucking band. Like to this day, and you can't. He's like one of the most irreplaceable frontmen you can imagine in terms of like a band. Like losing him's like losing, you know. I mean, you're losing your fucking.
But he was that much of an asshole.
But he was such a fucking dick. They were like they decided to just they brought chicks in to sing for him. Like there was like talk of him. He's begging more or less. I mean, at least that was my impression of it. He's practically begging Sebastian Bach to get back into the band, and the band is like, fucking never. And there was actually a response to something like, I'm only living this life one time, dude. I am not going to spend any of my time with something so decrepitly toxic as Sebastian Bach.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like bad. Bad.
Stupid.
Isn't it too bad? Because he was like, I mean,
this
what
is what I mean. Like, you have to feel pity
Yeah.
for people where you're like, why are you destroying your life?
I mean, I see it in Hollywood all the time. I've seen people do it. I mean, I talked about a guy. Well, I won't name him. This guy was gonna be huge, bro. I mean, he was gonna be fucking massive. He brought me to Angelica Houston's party. Christian Slater got us in. I was like, that's what he told me. He was like, Christian Slater got me in. He's like, Christian Slater called me. This is how big this guy was going to be.
Christian Slater called me on the phone.
Yes, he was like, Christian Slater called me up and he was like, he's not going to go to the party. He put us on the list. You want to go? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go. Then we go, we hang out all fucking night, partying, whatever, until everybody leaves. And there's like 6 or 7 of us, including Angelica Houston. And Angelica Houston says, Jeremy, like they fucking have tea every fucking Sunday. Jeremy, I don't know why I gave her an English accent. She's truly American. Play for us, will you? And then they brought out a guitar for, I just gave his name up. They brought out a guitar for this guy, whose name was Jeremy, and that I won't go any further than that. And he played for us. And it was brilliant, by the way. Brilliant. I mean,
there's a lot of Jeremys in Hollywood.
There's a lot of Jeremys, and I knew many. I knew many. I can tell you right now.
You should specify that you're not talking about Jeremy Sisto.
I'm not talking about Jeremy Sisto, no. So it could be Jeremy London. It could be anybody you want to talk about after that. I knew a lot of Jeremys, and I did. I knew like 4 or 5 of them at least. Yeah. This particular one was going to be massive. And he fucking burned his own house down. At that party, he was at UTA. He was repped at UTA, United Talent Agency. It's one of the largest agencies in Hollywood. And there was a UTA agent, a massive prominent UTA agent at the party and down to the final 6, right? It was the producer of My Own Private Idaho, Angelica Houston, myself, Jeremy, and this agent. And then there's one other person. It doesn't matter. And he picks up the guitar and he starts playing this song. He starts improvising and he does this whole improvised song that was beautiful, by the way, about how UTA agents in particular are the scum of Hollywood. And this agent is just sitting there like, and we're all looking at him. We're just like,
how embarrassing.
This guy just fucking burned every house down. And now he is nowhere in the business.
Yeah, of course,
like,
dude.
The last I heard, and like, I love this guy. He was like, man, I loved him, man. But he just got chewed up by I don't know what got into him, man. I mean, part of it was, I think he had some mental issues, some mental health issues. But my God. So I just watch people burn themselves down like this.
You hear stories like that and you're like, oh my God, can the fates just trade places with me? Because I would never.
That's how I felt at the time. I was like, if I had
up that opportunity.
half of his opportunities, I would be Jerry Bruckheimer in a fucking month. I know. Exactly. You know what I mean? I'd be producing Spielberg. Like, give me your next one. But this fucking guy, like, he had it all and he just took a match to it.
Austin said Josh Hartnett has a similar story. His career is finally coming back. He had some really humble musings on his behavior.
Really? I would love to know more.
Sometimes though, a lot of these people, they're in like the blast zone of somebody like Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's some, I can't recall the name of the person, but there was somebody who stuck up for their girlfriend. It wasn't like Brad Pitt with Gwyneth Paltrow. It was somebody less famous. But anyway, their career ended because they were trying to stand up to Harvey Weinstein about his bad behavior. So you never know where there's
actually Harvey Weinstein. I believe that there was a competition between Brad Pitt and Harvey Weinstein.
There was, but yeah. I was saying I wasn't referencing him.
Oh.
Because he did try to stick up for Gwyneth Paltrow, which is so weird because she's a Nepo baby, so you'd think that she would be untouchable.
Nobody's untouchable.
Nobody's untouchable to Harvey Weinstein.
No, not when. This is the thing. Once you go past that threshold, once you become the power, Mm-hmm. Once you become the power, that's it, dude. Everybody's got to fall in line in your mind. Cosmic Energy said that I said that Jeremy Renner was gay, and I may have said that he was gay because I did believe a rumor that I felt was fairly strong that he was gay. And as a matter of fact, by the way, I should get my laptop because, bro, I want to talk about this. But there's this comment section with this whole Jeremy Renner thing that's going on right now with Yi Zhou, I think her name is.
Yeah, okay, so the context is he is accused
Well, let me get to my point and then we'll get into
abuse.
that. We'll get into that in a minute because I'm not going there. But in that comment section, because there's he's accused of, being inappropriate with this person who has been described as his lover. She's an Asian, Chinese, I think, filmmaker, director. And so in the freaking comments, somebody was like, but I thought this guy was gay. And then somebody showed up right under that and said, hey, he's probably the Charlie Sheen kind of thing. He's got that Charlie Sheen thing going on. But anyway, it wasn't me who thought he was gay. There was a very strong rumor about it that I did believe. So if I said that I thought he was gay, that would be accurate. But it wasn't it wasn't a rumor that I perpetuated. It was just a rumor I passed on from what I thought was, fairly substantial. But it doesn't matter whether I thought he was gay or not. It doesn't matter if he is gay or not. None of that really fucking matters. And being gay shouldn't be a damaging thing to talk about. Like, it's just, I think the only reason I would have ever brought it up would have probably been in the context of people covering up their sexuality in order to maintain, a star power.
We've talked before about the concept of like celebrities that have like PR relationships that are completely just like crafted by their publicists.
Yeah, Rock Hudson.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, when everyone found out he had AIDS, and it was just like everyone was like, from what? Smoking? Did he get it from smoking?
So did you want to talk about this, Jeremy? I feel like this situation is really sticky. And it's a little difficult.
I do want to talk about it, yeah.
It's a little difficult to discern who's telling the truth.
It doesn't matter. And I don't think that matters. I think that the conversation isn't about who's telling the truth. That's not up to us, I don't think, to decide in this situation or even have to choose.
I should clarify, he's not saying anything. So it's not like I'm saying, I don't know who's telling the truth, and that my problem is believing an accuser or not believing an accuser.
Yeah.
But I read her Instagram post where she revealed all of this, that apparently everybody's writing these articles about. And her story is just a little bit like mushy. It lacks clarity. And especially since she's bringing up allegations from the very beginning when she first met him. And then she had a long relationship with him. And so I'm not really sure what we're supposed to feel like was offensive, because obviously there was behavior that she was fine with enough to have a long relationship with him. And then at the end, she feels like it was abusive.
I want to address all of that because there's so much more. It's such a big, like, giant loaded situation that people get themselves in. Again, like it goes right back to that same conversation I was having yesterday about me sitting there and watching Leonardo DiCaprio do this with Emily Foster, and then me freezing in my boots and not objecting to this behavior that I felt was objectionable. And then in the end, and in order to be able to protect my position with Leo, my status with Leo, my protect my movie, so on and so forth. So if this woman got into a relationship, some kind of a relationship with Jeremy Renner, that led her to believe that she was going to benefit in the way of
in her career.
Yeah, in her career. And by the way, he attached herself to her AI animated feature. Isn't that a shame? And also to the documentary that she was doing. So he had embedded himself in her projects. I don't know if that was before the romance began or not, but it really doesn't matter because, whatever, the lines got blurred and she ended up in this kind of like, romantic situation. And then that shit goes sour. Suddenly now she has so much to lose. Suddenly now there's so many problems now. And it's a very interesting thing when you start figuring out like forgiveness. It's an interesting thing because when people are like, why does she go back in domestic, DV situations? Why does she keep going back? Or I'm reading Virginia Giuffre's, her memoir. And in her memoir, she uncannily keeps trying to return back to her father. And you cannot believe the things that she's accused him of.
Yes, but I don't want you to put that language in my mouth because this is what
I'm not putting anything in your mouth, to be sure. Okay? I'm all the way on this side of the room and you get to speak for yourself.
That was poorly phrased, I admit.
Yeah.
What you were saying is that people criticize women for going back to abusive relationships.
Yeah.
What I said was that this woman...
I wasn't speaking about you. I was talking about
I know.
a general...
I just want to clarify. What this woman is saying is that Jeremy Renner began the conversation by sending like lewd text messages. He made a really like perverted introduction. And she's saying that now that was bad behavior and that we should all, that he's being accused of that bad behavior. But she's leaving out any explanation for how, if it was such offensive behavior that now you want everybody to rally against him and in support of you about that bad behavior, it wasn't bad enough behavior for her to keep away from him, right? Like she had a relationship with him. Those lewd text messages led to a relationship. So it makes it a little bit unclear what exactly she was upset about and what she's trying to get the public to be upset about.
Well, I don't think it's unclear at all that she's, she's very, very clear about it in terms of the treatment from him. Is it? I'm
No,
confused.
specifically, I'm talking about lewd text messages that that is part of her complaint today that everybody's running on this story.
That he sent her objectionable photos of himself.
At the very beginning of what became a relationship of
Yeah,
theirs.
I don't know where you're getting that from because I don't think
I'm
you're
getting it
that
from her Instagram.
Her Instagram said that the very beginning of her relationship was established with him sending her
Yes.
these lewd photos.
Yeah.
How does that phrase? Like how to explain how she admits that?
Okay.
In her Instagram.
Have you not read her Instagram?
Her Instagram.
This is what all this story is coming from. She made an Instagram.
I read
post.
articles.
Okay. And
Two.
so do
I
the
read
articles
two articles.
do the articles link her Instagram?
I don't know.
I have to go find this now, I guess. I will read to you what she says. Is Renner spelled with 2 N's?
Yeah. Cosmic, I don't know what you're doing there. He says, you flat out said, quote, if you don't know he's gay. And then Angela was like, oh my God, we're outing people. I don't know what you're talking about, and taking my stuff out of context. And then I don't know what are you trying to characterize me as doing something wrong? If you are, just say, hey, don't do that or something like that. And we can talk about it. Cause I'm not sure where you're going. I don't remember the conversation specifically, so I can't comment about what I said exactly. Did I think that Jeremy Renner was gay based on the rumors? I did. Yeah. Did I believe the rumors that he was a homosexual? I did. I believed them when I heard them way back when, whenever it was fucking probably 15 years ago. And then I hadn't really thought about it much after that because I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know where we're going with that, but yeah, I among others thought he was gay. Who cares? He's not gay. Or maybe he is gay. I don't know. Maybe he is gay. I don't know what the fuck he's doing here.
All right, I found it.
Yeah.
So this
is Who cares?
This is on her Instagram. Her username is Yi Zhou official. Okay.
I have a hard time believing that I just brought it up randomly. I just came out of the blue and said Jeremy Renner is gay.
Can I just follow?
I guess it's possible, but doubtful.
Can I follow up with what you were saying before you got to that comment?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing in terms of am I being held accountable? I'm
not going to be able to figure it out for you. Do you want me to read this?
I'm trying to clarify it with him, not you. But yes, please read.
She says, in June 2025, out of the blue, I received 2 photos of Jeremy Renner and then a string of unwanted/unsolicited pornographic images of himself via DM and WhatsApp. That was his introduction to me. In the same way, according to past media reports, I subsequently discovered he shared with other women in the past as a self-intro.
Okay.
After having calls and text discussions, he allured me and sold me he's looking for a relation, and of course seduced/flattered me that he was a Hollywood star fantasizing and loving me so much I believed in him / the power of love and embarked on the most difficult months plus 2 Oscar-running projects. I kindly invited him to be part.
Okay, so before you continue.
Yes.
So the idea of, in my opinion, trying to say that if Jeremy Renner in fact did that, and if in fact she was turned off by it, why does that preclude him being able to redeem that play? I just don't understand why he couldn't have done that. Which is very weird to me, but whatever.
She's alleging very abusive behavior. I think that's fine.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not my question. My question is...
I'm just talking about this one detail she puts in that I was just like,
Okay, but that's not my question. My question is, okay, so what? He sent them and then listen, this is where I got to go back to the power of, and this is the lure of Hollywood, bro. This is the lure of Hollywood. I'll give you a good example, actually. I'll give you a really fucking great example. We were doing our lives on TikTok and I got a message from somebody saying that they were subject to some very sketchy behavior by Tobey Maguire. And I was like, oh, do you want to tell me the details? And she said, yes. And she also said, I can talk about it publicly. Not mentioning her name. Okay. Her and her friend were kids. They were 14 and 15 years old.
This is her story.
She and her friend were 14, 15 years old. Tobey Maguire was in town wherever they were. I think he was shooting something. I can't remember the exact scenario that led to Tobey Maguire coming into contact with these two girls.
Were you given permission to share this story?
I just said I was, man.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so,
man.
Well, I just said it. So I guess you weren't listening.
Guess I just wanted clarification. Sorry.
Well, it's just I'm trying to get the story out. So
So he was in town.
He was
where
in
they
town,
lived.
wherever they were living. Oh, no, yeah, they were living. I think they were living. It's a weird scenario, actually.
Oh, maybe visiting.
Yeah, I think they were actually. I think they might have made I think they went as a. I think it was the whole thing was that they were a part of a group of girls that involved also a teacher, and they were on a trip somewhere, and on wherever they went, I think it was somewhere in Texas. He was shooting,
Like fucking debate team or some shit.
like that, and they were shooting, and he was in the same restaurant or whatever it was, and then all of a sudden he starts hitting on them, and he starts
Allegedly.
ranting. This is according to her story.
Okay.
I'm just telling her story. Do I have to?
I'm trying to help you out.
Not really, though.
No, but I mean, this man's an enemy of yours. It would be kind of cool if you like made sure that your language was a little bit cleaner.
The preface is that somebody came to me with this story, so
Okay.
it's obviously alleged. I can't possibly confirm it, and neither can they. They didn't give me any evidence. So let's just go with the blanket alleged and get on with the story. So this girl starts getting groomed by Tobey Maguire. And he invites her, and then blah, blah, blah. He invites her and her friend, but he's really trying to get to her friend. I think she was 14, the girl telling me the story, and then the other girl was 15. But they were just, very much underage. He was, whatever this was after Spider-Man. So anyway, long story short is that he tried to groom them, and he actually got the teacher on side. So he got the teacher to basically give those girls to him without her supervision. Like, he was like, I want them, blah, blah, blah. You don't want, yeah, I don't need you to come. She was like, yeah, this is fine. This is cool. And then one of the girls said, I went to the teacher. I was like, what are you doing? What should we do? She's like, it's okay. You can go. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. But the other one can go. And the other girl wanted to go. So she went because it's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And fucking this teacher, Angela, it was a teacher who had the responsibility of these kids. If you believe this story, this is the allegation, obviously. But if you believe this woman's story, and I do, there's no reason to tell this lie. This story is so absolutely unique, and it's,
it's just really funny that earlier we were talking about the Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow, about all of the shady tricks that Harvey Weinstein would pull.
Yeah.
And he would do something where he would send people to sort of seed negative stories, right? So that when those negative stories were reported, the person who is sharing that information could be held liable for that defamation. And this is why I always feel really suspicious whenever anybody is trying to share information with you, knowing that you have a microphone and that you like to talk, that they're setting you up to fail and be accused of spreading false information about them. Because if you can be shown to be spreading false information about these people,
yeah,
then you lack credibility about anything you've said, right? That would be a goal of theirs. So it's super important to only share information that you know is factual, that you can corroborate yourself or you've experienced yourself, so that you're never caught sharing a lie, because that would benefit those people who want to make you an uncredible source and make you a liar.
If I'm telling somebody else's story.
Yes, I understand what
Okay.
you just did. I just feel like it's still dangerous. It doesn't help you to do that.
She's
You were bringing that up in the context.
I mean, look, man, can we just have the conversation?
Yeah,
and
I know.
Stop,
I'm trying to get back to it.
Everything I
Can
say?
you?
Thanks.
You were bringing this up in the context of this Jeremy Renner story, and I'm not sure how it connects.
Bloody confusing.
What was your train of
The
thought?
reason is because everybody is. Let's just move on. It's just because
I'm curious about this.
I don't even know anymore. I don't even know anymore because it's like it's everything comes off the
What I
rails
was
and we're
saying
like
sparked a
policing
thought
me
that
about
made
whether
you
I'm
think-
saying fucking allegedly or not when I'm telling the story of somebody else's fucking story.
Settle down.
So it's clearly alleged. It's not my story.
Okay, why are you bent out of shape about it? Doesn't have to be.
Because it gets us so far off the point that we don't even know what I was talking
I'm
about.
trying to get back to the point. You were talking about I was talking about this Jeremy Renner story, and
weird
what
night.
I was saying. Listen, are you with me or not?
Yeah.
I was talking about this Jeremy Renner story.
Yeah.
Okay, and that sparked a thought where you wanted to tell the story about these girls who shared a story where allegedly Tobey Maguire tried to get them alone. Okay.
Yeah.
What sparked that thought about this?
I don't remember now, do I? It was you said something about I think the example was like who I don't know. It doesn't matter. Can we just move? Let's just move on to the Renner. Let's just keep going on with the Renner story. I'm pretty. There was a point. It's very much obviously lost in the mess of whatever this became, and I don't really. It doesn't matter. It's not a big fucking deal. I don't really care, but I don't want to dwell on it. I'm sorry I didn't say allegedly.
You are
I
dwelling
will
on it.
always try to get back to allegedly when necessary,
You
so
don't
that
have to
everybody
dwell on
feels
it if you don't want to
comfortable.
dwell on it.
But obviously it's alleged. You know, I mean, I don't, you know, I don't understand why we have to step around the obvious, but if we do, then we must. We'll waltz the obvious. Back to the Jeremy Renner story. I know that people want to immediately paint some idea of what they know what's going on, but maybe they don't. And look, I'm not suggesting that this woman isn't doing these kinds of things that people they want to talk about her like, oh, he's not promoting her movies now, so she's trying to take him down. And maybe that's fucking true. Maybe it's not true.
That would be weird.
It's fucking weird, bro. None of that even makes sense to me, frankly.
She's not the only person who's alleging that he's had bad behavior, and I don't know
exactly.
whether I don't know whether her story makes much sense, but I know that he has other accusers. But I also just think it's weird. She has in her Instagram post, she has hashtag cancel Jeremy Renner, hashtag no unwanted porn, hashtag no sexual objectification of women, no fraud, no fake charity, no fake foundation, no cover up.
Look, this girl might be a complete fraud. I have no idea. I'm not here to judge on whether or not she's a fraud, but I can tell you this. I can say that if your idea of trying to paint her as a fraud has something to do with the idea that, oh, why would she put up with this? Because he's Jeremy Renner, because he offers opportunity, because maybe there's hope that this could be a better situation than it started. You know, those are the reasons, because it's enticing, because there's an opportunity there. And the idea that she should be like, you know, I don't know, like she's not a bad person because she wants to fucking capitalize on an opportunity. She's not a bad person if after he sends those photographs, and he, by the way, according to her, and this is, you know, her side of the story, so it is alleged. We don't know if it's fucking real, but if it is real and we're listening, and her side of the story is in fact true, then he came back to her and said, hey, blah, 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 da, 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 what's going on? I'm Jeremy, let's hang out. So he ended up, what she said, created these sort of promises and hopes and whatever, and that's what happens. Like, if you haven't been in a situation where you've been involved with people who have extreme opportunity and power for you, it's incredibly persuasive, and it makes you fucking make bad decisions. I made a bad decision when I let Emily Foster get manipulated into that occasion right in front of my eyes, because I should have said something. I always felt like I should have said something in the time, and I didn't do it because there was things at stake. So if all of a sudden somebody inserts themselves into your life, and they look, I have a hard time believing that Jeremy Renner sent those photographs in the first place as an introduction to somebody. I do. I have a hard time doing it, believing it. So that whole side of the story to me is already suspect, but that doesn't mean that it didn't happen just because I think it's weird. So many fucking weird things have happened that I wouldn't have thought were weird until they came out as fact, you know? So it's like, it's really super easy to jump to your own conclusions based on the way you would conduct yourself, or based on how you think people should conduct themselves, and not have any context whatsoever, and also not understand what it's like to have your dreams in your fucking hand, and somebody being like, I can deliver your dreams. And then you're like, oh, fuck, you can do that? Let me tell you something, man. I'm going to always repeat this. Pete Davidson went and entertained the family that without question, the evidence proves, murdered his father. And he went and entertained them a year ago, and then when asked why, he said it was because of the money.
He said the money was too good to say no to.
So if you're asking why a girl's going to get these photographs and then go, okay, let's try this, it's because it's Jeremy Renner. It's because he has a deal at Disney. It's because he has a deal at some other fucking major studio. It's because he has massive agents. It's because he can open doors that are otherwise closed for her. So she's gonna fucking go ahead and sneak in the opportunity. Unless it's so stupid egregious. It's the same reason why
another thing that
Louis C.K. did what he did.
Okay, but listen.
He did that shit because he knows that's the kind of leverage they have.
I'm not defending Jeremy Renner. Other people have said that he's a violent asshole, and you know, I'm not saying that any of those people are wrong. Okay? What's up?
Delicat's got a bot. We'll see how she handles it. It's her first bot.
It's her first bot. Congratulations.
It came with, Blake is not a good person, and neither is her down low husband. down low and dirty.
Listen.
Yeah.
So another allegation that this woman makes against Jeremy Renner is that he threatened to call immigration on her.
This is the one that sickens me.
Okay, but look. So here's the text message. This is a text message where you could see at the top, it says Jeremy Renner is the contact name. Okay?
Yeah.
She says, in her side, she goes, these are all separate text messages. She said, go to hell. All names are given. You're a pig. You use all apps to send dick pics. No one said anything so far. Those are all separate texts. His text message responds, and it's cut off. So we actually don't get to see what he says. But the first 6 words of his reply is, immigration will be notified of your. And this is her version of sharing evidence. It's fishy. Obviously, when you start a sentence with immigration will be notified of your, it sounds bad. But why is somebody trying to make an allegation and they don't share the entire statement? This is what it looks like. She shared her statement, right? I mean, she shared all of her text messages.
Kind of have a little bit more in front of your face if you want to have us to see it on camera, but.
Let me see. Did I lose it? Yeah. So she all the green is her.
Yeah.
And this little bit that's cut off at the very bottom is his.
It's him, yeah.
This is what she's passing off as an allegation.
Yeah.
You can't see what he wrote. You only see the first 6 words he wrote.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, well, I'm with you. Like, I want to be with you. I want to agree with you that it would be absolutely fucking heinous for somebody to be in a fucking personal argument with you and then threaten to have you deported, right? To send the fucking state police, or I mean the secret police after you, you know? Like, how fucking horrific.
It would be apparent to me that she doesn't...
why are we not saying the entirety of the message?
I'm sure he's refuting what she said. I'm sure he's refuting what he said. Like, for example, he might be saying what he might be...
Fishy.
It might be fishy because she doesn't want you to hear him say something like, immigration is going to hear about your attempt at extortion. Right? And she doesn't want that, even if... Now, I'm not saying she's not extorting.
I know.
I'm not saying she's not.
It could be either way. It could be either way.
I'm not saying she's not.
We don't know.
I know, but just because he says it like she from a perspective, she might be like, okay, I'm not going to let them see that. Like, okay, I would have put it out as it is, flat, obviously, because you know me, I'll wear my heart on my sleeve. But she might have been scared of me, like, hey, he's calling me an extortionist and I'm not, and then they're going to go and spin that I'm an extortionist and whatever, and so, and listen, man, I'll tell you something, dude. Like, again, I don't know anything about this woman. I don't know if she's a complete fucking liar. I don't know if this is all fabricated, partially fabricated. I don't know anything about it, and I don't fucking care. I do not care. But the jumping to conclusions by people because of things like, you know, whether it's a cutoff message, and I'm not saying that you're not wrong about this, that it doesn't look sus. It does. I can understand why you think it looks sus. To me, she obviously does not want you to see what comes after that. What comes after that could be, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, even if he says you're an extortionist, even if he says you're a liar, even if he says, you know, because he's going to deny.
I want to believe victims, right? Like, I want to believe accusers enough to investigate. And here I am. I'm like, okay, cool. She says that she brought receipts. I'm looking at the receipts. I'm like, but this doesn't make your case. Like, this isn't making
It does make her case if the rest of that sentence is about...
See the if? Like, why do I get an if?
You have to let me finish the sentence.
Okay.
It does make her case if the rest of that sentence bears out that he was going to call ICE for any reason at all.
Yeah.
For any reason, dude.
Yeah.
For any fucking reason. He can file lawsuits.
I don't know what it says.
He can fucking do anything. I understand that, but it starts off with immigration.
Yeah, I know.
I'm an immigrant. I know what that means,
obviously
bro.
Why she thinks that it's
I know what that
compelling.
means. When somebody says immigration to me, I know what it means. It's not a friendly phone call. It's not, hey, let's call up and get Dale a fucking recommendation to immigration. So my suspicion is that does bear out that she does threaten immigration based on what that sounds, because what does he have to do with fucking immigration?
He doesn't.
So then the rest of that sentence might be that she's an extortionist, that she's a liar.
See how you're guessing, though? I don't want to guess about stuff. I want her to tell me what the story is so that I can
it doesn't
take her
matter.
side.
My guessing is the point is whatever I'm guessing is the point I'm making about the guess is it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is that if he threatened immigration because she was extorting him, that's not fucking good enough. You know, there are different means to that end in terms of,
he could be saying immigration will be notified of that's what we've got. Okay. Immigration will be notified of your address change from your place to my place. Right. Like, I don't know. Maybe she has pending work with immigration. She is talking to him about, they're working together. She is an immigrant. They're in a business together. So it could be that she is working with, you have business with immigration.
No,
you know
I do
what I'm
not.
saying?
No, I do not.
Don't you? Isn't it when
I go and renew my green card and then I am done.
This is what I'm saying. When you're in the process of that renewal, aren't you doing business with them? It's possible that Jeremy Renner has some involvement with this. Okay. I don't know what the context is. One thing I do know is that we have we have seen true crime documentaries about people that will stalk and manipulate other people and turn themselves into victims when they are actually the aggressors. I don't know what the situation is. Jeremy Renner should definitely talk about this and tell us what his side of the story is so that we can measure everything.
He has the rest of that text.
I know it.
So, we'll see what he
really
does. He has the rest of that text.
Because I know that there are some cases.
She knows he has the rest of that
There are
text.
some situations where people are being framed for crimes that their stalker or whoever is attacking them is actually guilty of.
Look, if this woman got involved with this guy attached himself to the documentary, attached himself to the other feature, love bombed her, according to her, which is a tactic men use constantly to try and win women over to get whatever they want.
Yeah, it could also be a tactic that people do when they're not a tactic, but a thing that people do when they're in love. Right, like so he's you and I had a period of our relationship where we could call it love bombing. If it ended badly, it'd be like, oh, I got love bombed. Well, actually, you were actually just in love.
I don't know if that's what love bomb really means, but okay, yeah, I guess you could say that. I don't know if he was in love. I don't know if that was the case. I don't know. He's whatever. There are rumors that she created the amount of rumors that have come out with her about her instantly. Let me tell you the jump on her. It's disgusting, bro. So, and the reason I say it's disgusting, it's just like she put out her claim, let the claim bear itself out.
Yeah,
like just let it fucking bear out. Right. But what's happening is people are on the witch hunt immediately on her, and it's fucking crazy to me. It's like instant, crazy. And it's fucking, and the guy with the reputation is him. He's the one with the fucking reputation. Mm-hmm. But everyone's fucking busting her chops already, and like maybe she is the snake. I don't fucking know. But it just is so fucking absolutely consistent.
Yeah, but
with this fucking country and the way shit works around here, that they're gonna fucking put this woman, burn her at the stake. And let me tell you something, man. I looked at the Daily Mail comments. It was horrifying, dude. The things that they were saying about her. The racism that was coming out of there, and everyone calling her fucking like gold digging hack and all this other shit. Nobody knows shit about what she is and what she isn't and what is involved in this. But the fucking gang up on this woman who's trying to speak out about something that she thinks happened. Now, listen, if Jeremy Renner, like all of us accused, we get to defend ourselves. Leonardo DiCaprio just accused me of trying to pit the press against him or some stupid nonsense like that.
Yeah, right.
I get to defend myself against it, right?
Yeah.
But I lived through people fucking just assuming that what Leonardo DiCaprio has said about me and the things I did were true, and they fucking weren't. And they fucking weren't. And not only weren't they true, but everyone's assumption is that I'm just a nobody, nothing. And so because of that, I must have been taking advantage of him. I must have been, doing that because he's the big star. He's the guy in the position. And it's the exact same thing that people are saying about her. Literally, the things that they're saying about her is that she didn't get what she wanted from him. That's exactly what's supposed to. Literally, what people say about me is Leonardo DiCaprio wouldn't let you fucking release a feature film, and now you're whining about it and you're trying to destroy him for it. That's what they say about me.
As if you fucking could. That's so weird.
Of course, it's stupid. And it might be stupid here too, because it might be that this girl just fucking went, okay, I gotta own up to the fact that Jeremy Renner is not a good person. He is not going to help me. These things that were inappropriate were actually a part of his personality and not a misstep or a mistake. I don't know. Like, it could be that way. And this is the important thing that I think this country fucking lacks.
Here's something
enough objectivity to say, because I'm not sitting here ready to roast Jeremy Renner either.
Okay, but listen.
I know he's got a fucking reputation, so he's got to have to deal with that. But,
I just want to share a couple things, so if I can.
Yeah.
So here's another piece that she's shared with everybody, okay?
Yes.
What counts as her evidence is her sending text messages to people that she knows, which is fine. In the context of any lawsuit.
Well, it does actually count, because one of the things that they look at is, did you tell anybody?
Right. So one of them is somebody whose initials are VW is asking her, can you lock yourself in the bathroom? He sounds crazy. She goes, I did lock. Hope he can't open. I'm sorry. Worried he yelled for 2 hours with one bottle of wine down alone. Okay.
Wasn't this marriage that lasted a minute, wasn't that one of her claims as well, that he was extremely abusive?
Okay, but so this is why this is another thing that's fishy to me. She is including this so that we all read and so that we can form our opinions based on what she's said to us.
This is in the text?
Yes, this text message. So the person came back and said, "Oh, sweetie, take care of yourself. I Googled the ex-wife's claims and they're very scary. You take good care of yourself and get out as soon as you can." And then get out there as fast as you can, and there's no other context.
So this person then would be a conspirator.
No, I'm just saying
this. But person, wouldn't that take that if this?
No, not intentionally. What I'm saying is when people put forward evidence in the public, right? Yeah. They would include something that makes. I don't know how valuable this is. She said, I did lock, hope he can't open. She included this. So I'll just hold this up again. Okay. In green is her, in gray is her friend. She could have cropped it before that text came out, that other text that provides the context.
But why would she? If her friend did
her friend is saying, I Googled the ex-wife's claims. They're very scary. Here's what I'm saying. It's possible that this person is like having some sort of dispute. You know how you were accused falsely by Tobey Maguire?
Yes.
And he used another time where you had hurt your friend's feelings before in something
because
totally
I got into
unrelated.
a sexual situation with somebody when we were really hammered drunk and I betrayed my friend.
He used that against you.
He did.
I just wonder if this is in this case, a situation where Jeremy Renner did have a messy divorce and there was some like.
But it's her friend saying it, isn't it?
Yes, I know.
So you're saying the friend's in on it then?
No, I'm just saying she would include this because if she's trying to claim that the same thing happened to her and she's just sitting on the couch sending her friend text messages, she's going to know that when she names this person, people are going to Google his history and then come back with this. And she's included it. So she may have just received this and been like, oh, this is great. I can use that. You know, I don't know. Right. This is the thing. Well, when you say believe accusers, you just investigate their claims. And that's what I'm looking at. Everything she's forward.
Yeah. And to clarify, it's not about believing them. It's about letting them have their say, like letting it come out. Like he gets to respond, bro. He can listen. Who was it? There was one that I started to cover. I was like starting to cover it, and then I got off of it because it was just looking too sour for me. I was like, man, and I didn't even bring it up. Like I just didn't even talk about it on this live. There was and I'm going to try to remember who it was.
It was Michael Pitt.
It was Michael Pitt.
Michael Pitt was accused of being extremely violent with a woman, and he ended up showing the court text messages where she is talking about framing him,
correct,
and conspiring against him and planting these stories.
And by the way, these came out because
they're false.
These came out because Michael Pitt was needing to leave the country.
Yeah,
and
he needed to travel.
So we didn't cover it extensively. We did bring it up and we did cover it briefly on the slide, but I'm not really deep into this, and the reason is because I'm letting Michael Pitt have his day. And I'm not going to perpetuate that story. He has text messages
that make her uncredible. She apologizes to him for being like, I'm sorry, I made up an accusation and blamed you for something that you never did before.
Exactly. So I became immediately skeptical enough to be like, okay, I'm going to step away from this and let it hash out, right? And give Michael Pitt the room he needs to defend himself. Right? Because that's what we do when we're out here chatting and fucking building this complete fucking fabrication about whether or not this woman has any credibility. And I got to tell you, though, she is a Chinese nationalist. She's not an American. She speaks with broken English.
Oh, I don't know about nationalist. That's actually
not nationalist. I'm sorry. She's a Chinese immigrant.
Citizen.
So, hence her English isn't her first language.
She does really well.
She also doesn't, of course, she's fucking bilingual. But it's not her first language. And she also we don't know culturally how she thinks and handles these kinds of situations. This is like, it's just there's too much involved to be able to sit with any kind of certainty at all and say, for me, out of the gate, my feeling about it is this. I want to hear what she has to say. I want it all to come out, and I want to find out if what she says is credible. Since it's out, you know what I mean? It's not something I crave. But Jeremy Renner has been credibly accused of being abusive in the past. And so it's entirely possible then that he could be abusive again. So right now, he's got the one strike against him. Unfortunately, reputation fucking matters. It does matter. If I had a reputation of being a fucking swindler to my friends, right? Mm-hmm. Prior to or after the Don's Plum scandal, I would believe that to be relevant, for sure. So if he's the one with the reputation and she's not at this point, so far as we know, then I'm gonna look at this with a curiosity for the truth, and I'm not gonna jump into conclusions, dude. The Daily Mail, they were dropping racist remarks that were just so nasty. I reported them.
Yeah, good.
I had to. I was like, fucking, you can't. What are you doing?
Cosmic Urgency said she's upset he didn't want to promote her movies, which she links to in almost every post. Well, that's how it goes, though.
I mean, we live in a promoting world, bro.
Yeah, you have to promote
Too
yourself.
Real a Hollywood Memoir. Pick it up on Amazon today. You know?
Nobody's going to do it for you. You got to promote your movies.
Yeah.
Cosmic Urgency is also in all caps saying you need to use the word allegedly. Angela is right.
I
Allegedly
know, that's
should
why I
be
got
inserted
upset at
as
all
much
you
as
guys
possible.
because it's like, allegedly is built in, bro. I don't got to use nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here touting for anybody. When somebody says something, it's alleged. As soon as I say something, it's alleged. Everything in my book is alleged. It's all alleged. It's just, to me, it's like an overuse of a word that doesn't need to be there because it's absolutely built into the scenario. The scenario cannot be anything other than an allegation. It can't be anything else until it's actually proven one way or another, either by admission or through, some kind of process, legal or otherwise. I don't have to say alleged about anything.
This is a worthwhile
it's
question.
Fairly obvious.
Cosmic Urgency is asking, I think this is a good question to ask. I don't get why we have to assume she's telling the truth. Why isn't that jumping to conclusion?
Well, that's exactly true. You shouldn't assume she's telling the truth.
You shouldn't assume she's telling the truth.
Absolutely not.
The reason why people say that just like hashtag believe women enough to investigate. Because a lot of times they don't believe accusers enough to even look at the allegations.
It should be listen to women. It should just be listen to women. Like, because you don't have to believe them, but you have to listen to them.
Hashtag investigate claims.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we're asking for.
Just listen, dude. Like, listen and investigate. That's true. It's just like you have to listen. Like, listen is, for me, when I say listen, I mean, don't allow your head, your brain, to start coming up with the narrative that doesn't exist, that isn't real, but that fits these kind of puzzle pieces that make sense to you because you know that the world is a cynical place where people will do horrible things in order to advance themselves in this society. We know that's the truth. It's a fucking disgusting and terrible truth, but it does not mean that every person who comes forward is suffering from that fucking disease of greed and capitalism. It doesn't. Maybe that is the case here. It very well could be. But the amount of people that have instantly jumped against this woman's allegations because, yes, she does that. She's did a piss poor job of putting her story out, frankly. She did a piss poor job of putting her story out. Doesn't
How's
look like
she going to crop his
doesn't,
answer?
Doesn't look like she had a lot of help. Doesn't look like she had a lot of people sitting down. She didn't have a crisis team. Yeah. But look what happens when you do. So who the fuck knows, what's right? All I'm saying is don't fucking decide she is something. Don't decide she's not.
Yeah.
If new, it should be a fairly neutral situation with the caveat that we need to listen to women. You have to listen to them. It has to bear out.
Not just women, accusers. Because a lot of women get accused of shit too. So in that case, you'd believe whoever,
I actually screenshotted some of the things that these people were saying, and I was going to put it in the live, but I just got too busy and I didn't get it done. I had to go do some driving around today.
Well, that's okay. You referenced it a bunch, so you could use that screenshot.
I wanted to show it to you guys because it's fucking nasty, dude. And I'm telling you, at the time there was 260, 270 comments when I was browsing through them. I would say that 90% of them, 90% of them were just stripping the spine out of this one. And they were saying god awful shit. And it was just filled with just assumption after assumption, filling in the gaps that they can't possibly know. Just filling in the gaps with what they would do or what they would think or what's plainly obvious because she's ambitious and she has dreams and because she has films that he was supposed to promote or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. None of that is relevant at all. Yeah, they were working together. So what?
Yeah.
So was Harvey Weinstein and fucking Rose McGowan.
The Rat Jag wants to know, what is everybody watching this weekend?
Yeah, the movie.
Did you know that Frankenstein just got released on Netflix?
Yeah, so I'm watching that with a big bowl of popcorn. And listen, Frankenstein's high on the list. Frankenstein. And then I want to watch this new Breaking Bad show. Was that Vince Gilliam, whatever?
Vince Gilligan? Is that his name?
Gilliam.
Who knows?
Fucking guys.
He's a writer. Nobody knows their names.
I think it's called, it's on Apple.
Cece is saying, Boots is great. Acting is phenomenal. I haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah. Cosmic Urgency's watching it too and loving it. So we're going to watch Vince Gilligan. Vince Gilligan was the bat. Yeah. So this is Pluribus. It gets 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Pluribus.
It's on Apple. We're gonna watch. I want to watch that. I hope you'll join me. If you want, I'll put my headphones on. I'll go in the corner.
We actually did that once. I was doing a lot of quilting, and it's really fun to quilt with a show on.
Yeah.
But you have to put headphones on because your sewing machine is so loud.
Yeah.
And Dale, I really liked watching. What was that one? Ozark. and you hated it.
Well, the whole fucking thing was blue. I just couldn't get
Yeah, I
past
know.
it.
The
colorist ruined it for me.
The colorist
out
in
of the
that
gate.
show fucking sucks.
I was like, dude,
I guess it's the director, right?
When the fucking skin is blue, I'm out.
Yeah, I know. Why is everything fucking blue in the Ozarks?
Yeah, exactly. The Ozarks are far from blue.
Yeah, I know. So I ended up watching that show by myself.
It was like a big fucking, the whole show was under a blue moon.
But most of the time we can watch things together. We'll watch these,
Yeah.
I'm interested in everything. I want to watch the stuff that these guys are recommending. You guys are always so right about what's good.
Yeah. I want to see Pluribus. I want to see Boots. I do want to see that.
Also, I just
It wasn't
noticed...
the first time Cosmic brought it up, actually. The first time he brought it up, he told me he was loving it, and it got on my mind because Cosmic Urgency, despite the fact that he's put me through some shitty movies, has also put me through some really good ones, and he's also brought me back to some ones that I have missed and felt were worth seeing again. So I like his suggestions.
Austin's asking, Angela, do you take commissions for quilts? Yes. Yes, I would love to quilt for money. I love to quilt, so it'd be fun to do it for money. It'd be great. Yeah, send me a fucking...
See what you want.
Tell me what you want. I'll make it. Cosmic Urgency said, I know Angela's not including me in that statement. What statement would I do?
Which one?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, because I guess that you guys always make such great recommendations, and Cosmic Urgency is teasing me because I always hate the movies.
No, you do. You come back with twos, and I'm like, yeah. So, well, let me tell you.
Cosmic Urgency recommended something, so I will suffer.
I'll tell you that Patterson has not left me.
Really?
Like, I will tell you that I think about that movie on almost a daily basis.
What the fuck do you think about? That's amazing.
I think that it was a tonally perfect movie.
Anytime throughout the day that you're bored, you're like, Patterson.
I think it was a tonally perfect movie. And so the reason, this is part of my process of this is like where I'm consciously aware of being influenced. Like I soak myself in the thinking of it. When something deeply affects me to the extent that I feel like it can actually, I don't know, like actually inspire me, right? I soak in it, like I soak in my thoughts of it. And I think that Patterson is one of the most tonally perfect movies I've seen in a very fucking long time. Like, it's like Haneke perfect in terms of tone.
So you'll have to...
Literally, there wasn't a second of that movie that wasn't exactly true. And this is the thing that I loved about it so much. It was always true to its tone, to what the filmmaker said. I don't think you understand the difficulty of that. Like, this is the thing about Patterson. Patterson as a movie is probably one of the hardest movies to make ever, because to hold together a movie that well with that much minimalism involved is extraordinary on everybody's level, whether it's Adam Driver, of course, Jim Jarmusch, but editors, everything, fucking brilliant. So this is one of the reasons why he's got a big win for me, because it's Jim Jarmusch, so it's low hanging fruit. But he was like, he put a specific kind of love toward it that got me excited for it, and it delivered in a ways. It took like, it's literally like, I didn't even realize how much I loved it until probably 4 or 5 days after. I was like, fuck, this thing is like, the only reason I bring it up with you is because you didn't. And I want to sit there and bore you with conversations about things you don't care about. I put you through the Avett Brothers enough. You know what I mean?
Shannon Knows is telling us about these two dudes who watch movies, and she said, I thought you two would also be good at that. They're called Real Review HQ, and I think they're funny. She said, I pay for their Patreon, would do the same for you guys. That's very sweet.
What is it? I guess we'll go look at that.
Real Review HQ. I screenshotted it so I can look it up.
I can't wait to see this channel evolve. Because I don't know where we're going.
Shannon Knows it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000. My guess. May I suggest a bitchin' podcast? I thought of it when you mentioned Rock
Trashy
Hut.
Divorces.
It's called Trashy Divorces. Okay, screenshotting.
That's some fucking... Some like...
I really liked the podcast Beyond the Bastards too, where they're like talking about all the bad people.
Yeah.
Stories about horrible people. What else was I going to say? Oh, I only just recognized like halfway through our live tonight that you're wearing a Manitoba Moose jersey.
Yeah, I had.
Manitoba Moose's jersey.
I was running around.
You're wearing a blue shirt underneath, and you said you were going to wear that shirt on the live, and so I put on my blue shirt so I could be coordinated with you. But then you tricked me. And
well, because the blue shirt is underneath.
Yeah.
It's my Frolic Room shirt, which I adore. But I forgot to take it off before we went live.
So you're wearing a Manitoba Moose?
Yeah, you guys want to see my Manitoba Moose jersey, bro?
That's such a great fucking hockey jersey.
It's the fucking best. My mom and dad have not been incredibly generous to me in their lifetime. But this is a gift that I have treasured. I went home on a rare occasion for Christmas.
Those always look really scratchy. Are they comfortable?
It's not only comfortable, but it's so warm you wouldn't believe it. It's like
really?
Light. This is an actual practice jersey.
But it's like made of plastic, right?
It's totally poly, baby.
Poly.
Yeah, I'm calling this thing. Its name is Polly. It was made by a woman named called Polly, or maybe it was a guy. It was the last name called Polly.
Cosmic Urgency says you guys should be posting your movie reviews.
Well,
you should
I
be
did.
Posting everything.
I did. I haven't got them all. I'm trying to. Part of it is getting better at them too, because sometimes we get so loose here. I can't wait to I'm really excited for how this channel is going to evolve. I'm working extremely hard on just getting us set up to have that space. A lot of it's being shaped by you guys. Which is so fun.
Yep.
And that you guys love the reviews or that you guys love that we talk about movies and things like that is really exciting for me because it has renewed my my fever for such things. And that has been rather dormant and almost cynically dormant.
And I too have also enjoyed being very opinionated and being encouraged to be opinionated instead of people being like, shut up, Angela. You're so opinionated.
Angela didn't tell me that she was
what?
Missing watching, with regularity feature movies.
Okay, you don't understand.
We were watching like a lot of docs and a lot of true crime shit.
I was like dropping little hints throughout our whole relationship. I was like, my favorite job I ever had was at a video store.
I was like, go get a job at a video store then.
And then I would tell you stories about my first husband. He was such like he was like a addict. Like he'd spend all of his money at the Best Buy new releases. So he would buy like every single DVD, every single album that came out. He was just like buying all of this like media. He was like a media junkie.
Yeah, he'd be like, fuck, I don't have to eat.
So what we would do, he had this huge like physical media collection. It was like a bunch of DVDs. He had like so many that it didn't even fit on shelves anymore. And what he did in this one rental that we had this huge living room, and he put little tacks all throughout the walls from floor to ceiling. He had these little tacks where it would be like 4 little nails and your DVD would slide into it. And there was just enough space between the rows so you could slide the DVD out. So the whole living room
perfect.
Was like a video store and you could see all the cover art just displayed on the walls instead of and he had like a few posters and stuff. Like I remember we had the poster for Magnolia.
Bet you Cosmic Urgency be in fucking heaven in that situation.
Dude, I was in fucking heaven. I was so stoked. What happened was we ended up breaking up and I still dreamed of that room. I always wanted to make one of those myself. And he ended up moving back to England because he was English. And he ended up just like fucking dumping all of that stuff, like all of those DVDs instead of like, contacting me and being like, hey, I know you lived with this stuff for 4 years. Maybe you might like it. I was so pissed. It's all gone. And I would never build a collection like that because I just don't have the space or the money for it. But I always just
even if we had the money, I don't know if I want to like create the landfill for it. You know what I mean?
There's some social media accounts where that's their whole thing is that they have all this physical media and they just show their they'll just like make videos showing the boxes.
No, there's a guy. There's one that all he does is he stands there
scrolling through them.
He just stands there like with his hands ready on TikTok,
yes.
And then people say like Cape Fear, and then he goes and he grabs one. No, the original. And then he grabs the original. You know what I mean? Like it's like
these
that.
people make content for me. Like I love that shit.
He has walls of shit, and then people will say something, and he'll like that's right. I was like, where did I write this? I wrote a screenplay. When Angela and I met, there was this really romantic moment that just sort of happened very naturally, where she was constantly on my mind. We weren't like I think I knew your name at that point. And I was at a record store, like impromptu, like visit to a record store because my friend was buying shoes next door. And if you're ever in Los Angeles, there's a record store near Fairfax High, across the street, kind of on what is that, Melrose or whatever. And
how cool for those high school kids that they have a record store.
This record store is dope as shit, and it's run by these ancient dudes. In fact, there was an article about it fairly recently because they're still fucking there. Anyway. just like fucking 500,000 like records he has. He has like 500,000 records in this one store. I can't even remember where I was going with this. God damn it. Because we were talking about collecting, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I collect records, and that's really like
that's a story about how Dale bought me a record before he even really knew me, and he kept it for 6 months before he finally gave it to me.
Dude, I spoke to it for 6 months.
I asked you out on a date, and then you walked me home at the end of our date, and the walk home to my place was past your place.
I'll read this scene one day from I Am Loving You. I'll just read the scene.
You wrote it in a screenplay.
Yeah, I wrote it in a screenplay. It's behind me right here. It's called I Am Loving You. Right there. I Am Loving You.
Anyway, I thought it was super romantic that you had gotten me a gift and you said when you were handing it to me very nervously, you were like, I've just been thinking about you so much. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was thinking about you so much, and then I was in this record store, and this guy was like, telling me that records are better than digital, and did I have a record player? And I was like, I didn't. And then he was like, you should hear the difference and whatever. He's very analog. And then he was like, let me play you something. Just let me play you a record so you can just hear it with these beautiful speakers. And he had these like gorgeous speakers or whatever. And then I was like, you got anything from Alan Lomax? And then he calls some guy. I'm just gonna call him Dusty because he was fucking Dusty. He's like, Dusty, and out came this guy. It was like he shook off a century of dust from a chair in which he sat the whole time.
He was like living in the stacks. And
yeah,
then,
just like
emerged
inanimate.
Like
he dropped a fucking drop of water on him. He's like, look at this. He came out of nowhere, almost like a fucking, like in a little dust cloud aura around him.
Like shuffled out.
Paper thin white skin. And this guy says, he wants to hear some Lomax. And this guy went and went and put up a fucking ladder and like in one of these rooms. It was like this whole thing. He was like, walks away. I go and sneak around the corner. He's fucking, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you didn't have to go through all this trouble. Pulls down they had like 3 Alan Lomax records. And one of them was out of my price range. It was like something like $150 he wanted for it. It was like real rare, like Lomax. I was like, I wish I could, but I can't. And he had Negro prison songs, which we talked about on this live, which is this absolutely extraordinary recording of Black prisoners in the Mississippi State Penitentiary singing while they're working on the plantation in 1940, whatever. And it was just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, a fucking truly beautiful record. But anyway,
Austin
as far as collections go, records is kind of where I'm at with that.
Austin said, 2 hours into your date, you have a vinyl collection. That's pretty much how it went.
Yeah, well, she had a little vinyl collection at home. See, because was it you that brought the record player in? One of you guys would bring a record player in.
I brought a record player into my job.
Yeah, and you would play records.
Because I had records that I couldn't find on iTunes or whatever. They just didn't my records were like like jazz records that I could never find. It's weird too. What happens is I have
Ramsey
records
Trio
on,
or whatever they're called. You had a couple of those guys. What are they?
Yeah, like there's this one. It's Malcolm McDowell. No, that's not the name. Malcolm McDowell is the actor.
He's a good one too.
I can't remember. Anyway, there's this jazz record that I had, and every version that I've found online is like the same name, the same artist, the same title, but the music is very different, and I don't know why. Or like for instance, one of my favorite records is Band of Gypsies, the Jimi Hendrix album.
Yeah.
And the vinyl record that I have,
that record is that's got the machine gun on it. Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
Band of Gypsies is one of the best rock records ever made.
Yeah, and, it really is.
The record that I have used to belong to my mother, and it's just like really aged and it's kind of fucked up. And so every single track has a bunch of like vinyl
Pops
record crackles in it. And I had heard it like that my whole life. Ever since I was a fucking kid, I would put this record on. It's been my favorite forever. And I heard it once, I put it
on a clean piece of vinyl.
I put it on iTunes or something, and I heard it, and it didn't have those crackles, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It sounds bad. This sounds not right.
What's this Sly and Family Stone song that's like that? The one about his baby or whatever, the one with the baby on the cover, and there's that slow song that's just crazy.
Small Talk is a really excellent Sly and the Family Stone record.
I had the same experience with that because you introduced me to that record, and you have the record. And that's another one of your records. I think was either your mom's, was totally it's a noisy record, but it's noisy in that way that just because the way he sings that whole song, in particular, is just so it's almost perfect. It's like it should have been that way. And so you introduced me to that before we were living together, and then I was so in love with it. I was like, oh my God, it's just fucking amazing because you played the record for me. and then, or for us at the coffee shop. And then so I went home and I like dialed it up on whatever, I could, social media or whatever. And I found it and I played it and it was like not crackling. I was like,
Yeah, it's wrong.
this ain't right, dude. I don't like
Why does
this
it
shit.
sound so bad?
You want to finish up some comments before we close up?
Yes.
Okay.
Cosmic Urgency said, did I already tell you to watch the movie Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always?
No. Let us write it down.
Yes.
Never, rarely, sometimes, always.
Yeah, saved. Austin said, my kid plays a jazz piano
Oh, wow.
at the Rialto.
Oh, that I'm jealous immediately of your son.
Jazz piano sounds fucking awesome.
Well, I lived with a jazz pianist.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
It must have been amazing.
Barry, bro. I would wake up to him just fucking, and I just loved it. When I moved in with him, he's this ultra nerd. I mean, ultra nerd. And so I moved in with him because it was a room for rent, and he was like, I play a lot of jazz piano. Is that okay?
You're
I was
like, yes.
Do I have to pay you?
Yes, please.
Do you like if there's a tip jar, it might be a problem because I'm not very.
One of the funniest things that I ever remember experiencing was I went to visit my sister and her husband at the time. It's her ex-husband now, but he was a violinist and he was immensely talented. He'd been playing since he was a kid. And so I went to stay with them and I didn't realize that he practices every morning. And so I just like woke up like in a strange place, a strange house, like she lived in the woods, in the woods on the mountain in like Santa Cruz or something. So it's like I wake up and out the window is like this perfect forest. And then I hear this like violin music coming from in the house. And I I shuffle through to the kitchen and my sister's like making coffee. She's like stirring her coffee in the cup. And I was like, you live like this? Like, this is amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, man.
So he just plays violin for you every morning. And she was like, you'd be surprised how old it gets.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's violin. It's
Just
loud.
once in her life, she wanted like a quiet morning.
She's like sitting there, like staring at her coffee, just like, and he's sitting there playing something that everybody else would otherwise die to hear.
He's like
and
a fucking virtuoso. I was like, how can you not be?
I think about that like with singers too, like how, I was roommates with a singer, and a very good singer, and then I don't know, maybe fucking 3 months into that relationship, I was like, hey,
will you?
Could you do that when I leave? Would you do that when I leave? Thank you. You're very good. You're very, very good. But I need you to shut up now. Thank you.
That's really funny.
It's just,
grass is always greener.
I always fucking play guitar. I know why, I learned the hard way that, because, play a lot of songs. It's the same song over and over again, like.
Well, you got to practice, yeah.
No, but there was that.
Probably what irritated her.
No. What got me, like, I know how, like, because you're very complimentary of my guitar, and you're very easygoing with me playing it whenever.
Oh yeah, I think you're great at it.
But there was one song that I didn't know, and I was like, I would play it every time I picked up the guitar, like every time I picked up the guitar. And then there was just like this one moment where I noticed where I was like, wow, Angela just doesn't look right. And then I just asked, and you were like, I'm a little tired of that one. And I had been playing it for at least 7 years, probably almost every day.
I know. You looked over and I was like, I think you got it, bud.
Yeah, you're like, I was like, but
I think you learned that.
Yeah, but
one
now
already.
that I got it, I kind of want to play it. You know what I mean? Because I got it. And you're like, I think that's probably enough of that song. And now I play it like, I've played it like twice recently.
I don't know why our dog is choking.
A reprisal of a song that I had otherwise laid to rest many, many years ago. Because of that comment. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, these things, they even when you're, in like, I thought about that with like Trav,
Travis Kelce?
Yeah. I thought about Trav and him sitting around, going, could you not, you know what I mean? Your voice doesn't sound that great today anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe have some lemon water and just give it a break. What do you think?
Maybe today we rest our vocal cords.
What do you think about that? Give it a little rest and, give me some space to just think. How about that, huh? Are you making a record? Go to the fucking studio. All right? The garage.
It's a shared space.
You guys are fucking tremendous and lovely people. I do enjoy so much of our time together, even when it gets... I love that today. I loved our live, even when it got... I love that it got spirited like that, because I think that's good, These are good conversations, especially when you guys are... And, look... Cosmic Urgency was calling me out for saying that Jeremy Renner was gay. And, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't speak rumors. Maybe I shouldn't talk to rumors.
Speak rumors.
So, you know, maybe I have something to think about and learn from that. So I don't mind that you call me out on it. I appreciate it. I'll work. I'm trying to be a better person. I really am. I'm every day I'm trying to be a better person. I know that, you know, I fall into the same kind of cracks and crevices that have been laid before me. You know, eventually I'll learn how to pave over them and, you know, walk a straight line. But,
Nice.
you know, all right. You guys are so fucking beautiful and wonderful. And I do hope you will join us again on Monday when we return at 6:00 headache free.
Monday? It's the weekend?
It's the weekend, baby.
Oh.
It's going to be a good weekend too, because I got so many plans for the live. I have a whole work plan for my whole weekend. It's all aesthetics. I'm really excited about it because I really want to be able to like put these materials that we go and we cover on the screen for you guys. So you guys can like be able to like see them for yourselves and not have to just rely that we're, you know, reading them appropriately. And,
I have to ask, do you know what we're watching this weekend?
we were just talking about it.
We're
going to watch that feature that
Frankenstein.
We're going to watch Frankenstein. If we get the second feature, it's going to be the one that he just talked about somebody talking too much. What's it called?
Right. Never, rarely, sometimes, always.
Yeah, it sounds like shut up, like the long form of shut up. So anyway, whatever. We're going to watch that because it sounds fun. And I want to watch this new one from Vince Gilligan. It's just
Pluribus.
I want to check it out.
Okay.
I'm very excited about that. And
Fine.
Boots. So we got our agenda.
Okay.
Long live Jeremy Renner.
What?
You know, hey, long live us all. Long live us all.
Okay.
You know, if the bad guys get to live.
Is he sick?
He just fucking barely survived, didn't he? Listen,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if Jeremy Renner is a fucking bad guy in this situation, I hope this is the thing that makes him, straighten it out.
Right.
Like, just stop it. If this is the one that makes him stop it, I hope that he doesn't do, if he did, conduct himself inappropriately in this situation, then I hope that he'll find a way to make it go away and not turn this into a situation where he's going to try and redeem his reputation by destroying somebody who is complaining because it got out of hand, because he went too far. That's my hope and my dream. If, on the other hand, this woman is creating false allegations because he didn't deliver for her, and she's trying to find a way now to enrich and publicize her, or whatever. But she's calling out Hollywood. She's like did some really like crazy shit. So she's either like decided she's like it's a wrap for her and she's going back to China.
I also thought it was suspicious that she said #cancel Jeremy Renner.
That's not good.
Because I feel like anytime that I've like, I obviously want Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire to make, to fix what the damage that they did.
Yeah.
But it would be really weird for me to say that I want them canceled.
I clearly state I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want Leonardo DiCaprio canceled, and I don't want Tobey Maguire canceled. I'm not in the business of fucking wanting any of that shit.
Yeah.
I do want them to be held accountable for the things that they do wrong.
Right.
And whatever that accountability is not for me to decide.
I know.
It's just not for me to decide. In the same way that I make a movie, people get to like it or they don't like it. I don't get to decide whether they get to like it or not. I just do the best I can. Same with my book, Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir. You can pick that up on Amazon if you're got a minute.
Okay.
I love you guys. Guys, I'll see you guys on Monday. I got to go, man. I'm going nuts.
Have a good